Welcome to Kilgallon's Pub, the podcast where I, comedian Joe Kilgallon, like to sit back, have some drinks with people, and recreate that bar conversation we all know and love. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Kilgallon's Pub, also on Twitter at Kilgallon's Pub. You can follow me on all the platforms at Joe Kilgallon. Thank you so much to everyone who's been listening and checking out. We're getting a lot of great feedback lately. We do have the Patreon is in the works, so heads up to people who have been asking. It's really cool. People are like, hey, we wouldn't mind throwing you a few bucks.
Let's give Joe money.
Yeah, well, because I got some secret stuff that I wasn't allowed to. I had to take down one podcast because someone was trying to get a job, and then some other stuff. But and another podcast where someone's like, legally, I want that off in case I get sued for something. So there's been some crazy shit. But I'm really excited for this week's episode. Got one of my favorite comedians who I've tried to get on a few times, but I'm such a lazy asshole. It's like, hey, are you free in 6 hours? The very, very funny and talented Erica Nicole Clark.
Hello, hi.
How are you?
I'm coming from my goddamn town.
Welcome,
Hi.
welcome,
Hi.
welcome to Kilgallon's Pub. I'm very pumped to have you on, and I've always had great conversations with you. And we're going to start off this one right here with I ran into you at Laugh Factory. We both just did our favorite club, and I said, as I'm giving you a hug, I said I got to apologize because I just had Taco Bell. And I've had one time when I was a kid, I remember eating Taco Bell and then hanging out with people, and they're all like, "Your breath smells like shit." I'm like, "Well, I just had Taco Bell," and my friend's like, "Well, that's why they give you free mints, dude. They know their product." Sometimes Taco Bell used to have like these little mints that they hook up with. But I feel like you judge me for the Taco Bell because you're like, "Well, Chipotle's right here."
Right.
So you're Team Chipotle?
I'm not Team Chipotle, but in the fast food Mexican world, I would say Chipotle.
So you think Chipotle is better than Taco Bell?
Yes.
Well, this was a short podcast, everyone. No, I don't.
It depends on what time. Like you're telling me 4 o'clock in the morning, there's a Taco Bell and there's a Chipotle next door to each other. You're starving. Which one do you go to?
I'm still going Taco Bell.
Really?
Yeah, let me tell you why. It's quicker, and Chipotle is pretentious. They think they're hot shit. You ever get, first of all, it's very complicated to order there because it'll just say tacos, the calories, and then you're not sure the price.
How is it complicated?
It's been complicated to me sometimes because they're very much like, oh, you want, what kind of meat? I go, I want the carne asada. And then they put 3 little pieces of meat on there, and they give you 4,000 things of lettuce. And I'm like, can we make a taco like I'm your friend? Pretend I'm your friend and make a taco that way. Taco Bell is consistent. I know exactly how much ground beef, how much cheese, how much lettuce I'm getting with each taco.
Yeah, because it's been made like 5 months ago, and they just fucking microwaves it. Yes, they're consistent. Yes, it was made by a machine.
They literally is though. You
Right.
know, they have a meat tube.
Yes.
The ground beef comes out
Right.
this fucking gross ass tube.
Taco Bell is iPhone and Chipotle is Android.
No.
So you're saying iPhone's
are
better?
for dumb people.
No, they're not.
And Androids are for people who
Are
know
you
what
still-
the fuck they're doing with technology.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Do you have an iPhone?
No, I have Android.
It's an Android. It looks like an iPhone.
You must know what you're
Listen,
doing.
though. Look, I'll admit this. I was talking about this with my brother, actually.
Nolan is blocking you, by the way.
He would do that.
Okay.
By the way, everyone go out on the Instagram. You see some great clips of Nolan we did a special St. Patrick's Day episode of the podcast,
Of course
which was
you
like
did.
our 1 year anniversary of doing it. Yeah, of course it did, right? See the flag here. And it was a drunk shit show. And poor James had to sit there for 3 hours dealing with all these drunk idiots. But, dude, I've been going through the clips. There is some gems in the clips. I already cut up one clip I'll show you guys. I cut up one and put it on Instagram, but I cut up another one. And Erica, you'll appreciate this being a comic, how we can be dickish to each other. Jonah Jerkin starts, I'll just give a little, because I took the thing down. It'll be on the Patreon. Jonah Jerkin starts talking about his dad. I don't want him laughing because it's not funny. His dad died of heroin overdose. So it's not funny. But what's funny is how we reacted to it because there's 4 of us. It's me and Joe Fernandez, and you split the camera perfectly during this. So Fernandez is sitting right next to me. I start like hitting him in the face and pushing him and just being like a real silly drunk, being like, I'm just giving him a headlock and messing with him. And while that's happening, Jonah's talking about like, oh, it was real tough with my dad. And then Nolan, who's just slurring his words because he showed up like, you go 0 to 60. He showed up 60 miles an hour. He was flying. And he then, in his beautiful Irish brogue of an accent, slurs his words going, hey. And he looks right at us both going, shut up. His dad died of heroin. And he looks back at Joe and goes, go on. And then I'm like, oh, shit, I'm sorry. And I literally said, I'm like, so your dad died of heroin? That sucks, right? And then I start taking out my phone and like looking at it as he's talking. Then you cut back to Jonah and Nolan, and Nolan's on his phone too. As Jonah's telling us this heartbreaking story.
You guys are fucked up.
We were hammered.
Fucked up.
We were
Yes.
so drunk, but it was bad taste on our part. Yeah, totally. But no, back to Taco Bell though.
I am not. 'Cause you know what? I don't eat cheese.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Look, I'll admit Chipotle's higher quality, but I just didn't like when Chipotle came out. They just kind of ran their mouths acting like they were tough shit. I'm like, McDonald's owns you. Don't act.
Do
And
they
then,
really?
and then they started poisoning everyone with their lettuce.
Yeah.
So.
And they're like uncooked pork, undercooked pork.
I would agree with you there. And then you left Laugh Factory, and you're like, I'm being a pig right now. I'm like, wait, what? You getting more Chipotle? And you're like, no, I'm getting Doritos from Walgreens.
Yes.
Taco Bell has Doritos and Fritos.
Yes.
Just
I
saying.
know.
Just so you know, they sold Chipotle back in 2015.
McDonald's did?
Either an alarm.
Thank you. This is James Webb's purpose. This producer James Webb,
right.
everyone.
To fact check?
Yeah, kind of to fact check and to, keep me on my toes a little bit there.
Okay.
James also is the head honcho. He's the CEO of People of Comedy Network.
Gross.
That's the name of this podcast network.
Did you say gross?
Gross for CEO. Yeah, totally. But Apple versus Android, I was bringing this up. My brother Sean and I were talking about this because we're iPhone people. And I used to be an Android. I had the Samsung Galaxy originally, and I remember going, fuck iPhone people. I couldn't stand it, and then I switched over because I needed it for some stuff. And at the time, iPhone was way ahead. The Android has since caught up. You can't deny that iPhone was ahead when they first started. Like, it's a better phone.
Boring as fuck.
No, better. At first, it was a much better phone.
Never.
No, I had the Galaxy. I had an LG touchscreen phone that was big when it came out.
LG.
Yeah, that was popular when it first came out. They make good
no.
TVs.
Yes. They don't make good
Samsung
phones.
makes fucking washing machines now. Are you gonna knock them for making the Galaxy?
The Galaxy can charge an iPhone now.
Yeah, I know.
That's how
They've really
fucking
caught
dope
up.
It is. Yes.
But my brother made a great point. He goes, the best thing iPhone or Apple did essentially was create a stigma from not having the iPhone. They made
they
even
make you feel like you're poor.
Yes.
They change the color.
That's exactly what he brought up.
Text someone.
You know who doesn't have an iPhone when you're texting with them.
Immediately, yeah.
It's shaming.
Yeah, it's a shaming thing.
Because they are assholes. They change their charger every couple years. They did a thing now with this latest one, the iPhone 8 Plus, where they changed the headphone jack. So now your old headphones don't work on these anymore.
Yeah, you have to have the AirPods, right?
Yeah, or the AirPods, or the thing that goes into this to listen. So I have that. I don't have the pods.
Right.
So sometimes at night, going to bed, I'll just watch some bullshit on YouTube, and I can't charge my phone and listen on my headphones at the same time.
Oh my god.
You know what had that?
That's like, what is this, a third world?
I know, these are first world. I can't charge my phone and listen to a YouTube video, a cat video.
Oh, man. The very first Android phone had that problem. So congratulations, Joe. You're going back.
They go going backwards, but now I'm hooked because I have a MacBook computer and the iPhone, and we have an iPad at home, and we used to have Apple TV, but that, of course, after 4 years, stopped working well. So now I'm an Amazon Fire Stick / Roku guy.
Is the Apple rumor true about the nets around the building?
Oh yeah, they're evil corporation.
Yeah,
definitely, dude.
To stop people from committing suicide.
Yeah, in case people don't know what Erica just
Instead
said.
of paying them more, okay.
Yeah.
The factories in China had people who were overworked, 15-hour days, and just worse conditions, going to the top of the building and killing themselves. How did they stop that? They put up nets, which is so fucked up. If I were so determined to kill myself after seeing that, say I was thinking to myself, today's the day I'm going to do it, and I show up, I walk in, and all of a sudden I get to the top of the building, I'm like, what the fuck is these nets for? I would be like, you know what, I'm going to go downstairs and bash my head in with the latest iPad in front of him. I'm just going to keep slamming it in until it's a horrible way to kill yourself, but that's how I would have done it. Right. But they really stopped. You know what I've done? I'm taking the fucking useless chargers, see if they got them in a pile, and just hung myself that way. This is bad because I was going to give a shout out to someone in regards to a friend of mine who, look, I have to start joking about suicide. I mentioned this on the podcast. I've been back in, you and I go way back, but I moved back to Chicago less than 2 years ago. So it's been less than 2 years. Yeah. In the 21, 22 months or whatever, I've had 5 friends die, 3 of them via suicide.
That's scary as fuck.
Yeah, it's fucked up. So if I don't start making some jokes about this horrible thing, and we even had a serious episode a week before my friend Brody killed himself via suicide about how, get help. Like this, and it sounds cliche, but it is true. And I made a post recently on Facebook asking if I knew any psychologists, and luckily I got a lot of responses. So I'm going to have an episode where I have a psychologist on, and we kind of just talk about mental health, but in a way that makes it okay. Which is nice, though, that people are more and more open about it. It's no longer this thing that people are ashamed of, and they keep it down deep. Right. Unless they're just, hard asses like every Irish person I know. I feel like we have problems, we don't talk about them. I'm worse with that stuff, though. But I'm excited to talk to you. Before we walked in, we were talking about someone who I won't name. It was a comedian friend of ours who we discovered will go back 3 years and like someone's Instagram photo. Yes. Which, if you're listening, don't do that. Like, look, we all do it. We all creep on Instagram photos.
You can't though, because that's just showing.
It's showing up.
I'm fucking weird.
Now, as a woman, wouldn't you be like, what the fuck? This dude just liked me from 2016? How far back are you scrolling?
He's deep in it, right? I would think it was a mistake.
That's the lie I would use if I got called on it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I just tapped it.
Well, I have a 2-year-old son, so luckily I get to. I'll show him
Right.
stuff on my phone. He's playing on my phone. He must have unfollowed you. That's why I don't follow you.
All right.
Look, I'm following you again.
Right.
When really I was never following you.
Yep.
Do one of those.
Yes.
Someone calls you on it. So I thought this was funny because how far back can you? No. Here's what my tweet was. Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked. I tweeted today, everyone, follow me on Twitter, that I get annoyed sometimes, though. This is very guy perving stuff that I think every dude does. When someone posts like a picture, say you post a picture, it's you and 3 other hot women, and you didn't tag any of them.
Right.
As a guy, I'm like, what the fuck? Now I can't creep on their pictures.
Right. Yeah.
Tag them.
Yes.
And you then told me this is how you met your boyfriend?
Yes.
So
he
what's
did.
this story? Let me hear
So,
the nugget.
there's a comic, right? And so this is like, shit, this is 5 years ago. He posted, I follow him, we're cool. And then he posted a picture with a dude and didn't tag him. He didn't even say, like, in the caption.
See,
like,
women are
kicking it
pervy
with,
too.
Like, whatever. So I wrote underneath the picture, who is that? Right?
See?
And then,
like
he
that.
responded, I'm not going to give you somebody else, like some other dude's name or something like that. So I was like, well, damn. So then I went through the likes, right?
Smart.
Like a smart, creepy person. But so he liked it. He had liked the picture. So then I looked at his Instagram, right? So, oh my God, girls are such stalkers. My comedian friend was having, like, he hosted a show every Monday night, and so he was hosting it that following Monday, like 2 days from now. So I figured maybe the guy in the picture will be at the show, right? So
Good logic.
right, I went, I saw him at the show, and I was just like, oh hey,
You approached
Yeah.
him?
I approached
I love
him.
that confidence. Isn't that confidence sexy?
Yeah,
That's
I
sexy.
approached him, stuck my ass out. I gave him my telephone number. Yeah, I was super aggressive. Yeah, super aggressive. And then he texted the next day like, oh, nice meeting you. And I was like, yeah, I got him.
Nice.
Yeah, got him. Yeah, and then we fucked. We fucked the next day. So yeah, met him on Monday, fucked him Wednesday.
Clearly it works out 5 years later.
Fucking whore. Yep.
No,
yeah.
you're not.
Yes, I am.
You do. I love your comedy because you're so honest, but
Right,
you do talk
but,
about
every
like.
woman would be like, no, you're supposed to wait and make him whatever.
Man,
But
go get it.
I disagree.
Yeah.
The whole weight thing, that's pretty old school, right? Especially at a certain age.
okay, so
I mean, you're very young still, but like.
How long did you wait with your wife?
Oh well,
Like, really think about it.
I'll tell you. I can tell you the
long?
exact number.
How?
It was you know what it was high school.
You met her in high school?
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's a little different.
Right,
though.
yeah, it's different.
If we would have met in high school and I'm banging her the next day, that's
right.
a little. By the way, babe, if you're listening, sorry I said banging you the next day. She's doing a month, everybody,
Wait,
with
did you
baby
guys
number 2.
Did you guys lose your virginity?
I did not. She did.
Oh, okay.
But
So yeah, of
number
course
2.
it's long.
Again, if you're listening, sorry.
Okay,
she
so
doesn't
but
listen.
it's still it's long. So
Yeah,
I'm sure
no,
it was a
it
long
was.
time.
It was funny. I lost my virginity kind of early on. I was like 15, and then it was like 2 years later before I had to text again. And I remember, like at one point in the middle of that, I was running late to a baseball game. I forgot my cleats, so I'd like run home and get them. And the back door was locked, and I'm saying to my sister, "Open the fucking door," because I was like in such a hurry. And my sister being, she's teenagers being like kind of shitty, going, "Oh, shut up!" And I'll get there when I get there, like slowly going, and I'm banging on the back door, and I ended up punching through the glass of the back door. I ended up cutting my hand. I got like some scars from it still, that little pinky scar there, and like a week later, pulling glass out. I didn't need stitches. Maybe I should have actually, but and then I remember like seeing my
Right.
cousin the next day, like at a family party, and my sister was like, "Hey, you punched through the window." My cousin's like, "Well, it's been a year since he's been laid. He's very frustrated right now." Because I had this older cousin who I like looked up to because he was such a like ladies man, and when he was in college, he would like send me emails back when like that was how it was like the new communicating.
Yeah.
He sent me like essays about like, here's my move on how I've been getting women lately. Here's this. Like he was like my Zach Morris. Like he was like this dude who just got so much ass. And so I remember telling him like, "Hey dude, I lost the V card." Did you call it the V card? People used to call it the V card. Yeah, that was like a big thing. I don't know if kids still call it the V card, but this is really mean too. Fuck, that's why I love stuff like this, because at a bar you get sidetracked. We had a friend of ours who was a senior in high school. He was the best basketball player on our team. He was all conference. He was still a virgin senior year. He was a 3-point shooter. So every time he hit a 3, we made V's, And every time he hit a 3, we taped a V to the back like wall of the like during like games, and we were like counting that each V was for a 3-pointer. And I remember someone asking, "Why is it a V?" Or like for victory, because he's always like he's like victory, you know, that's like his thing, you know. This was before like that Entourage show where they victory people yell out. And it was a real dick move now that I realized that.
Yeah, you're making him feel
He didn't
bad.
seem that mad about it though. But yeah, I guess it's a pretty asshole move.
You were early fucking.
Yeah, I guess, but
Yeah.
but no, that was sophomore year, and then again it was like end of junior year. So
Okay.
it was like summer going into sophomore year, and then end of junior year I started dating my wife, and then.
Are you still cool with the girl you took?
No. Oh
Ooh,
no!
damn.
I don't think I've ever told
That
this
was a
story.
resounding
You know why?
no.
I'll tell you why. Oh, you know what? Damn, I almost want to save this for not. Well, I used to do, you know, when you're at a bar, you ask stupid questions. So for a while, I was doing a segment that I stopped doing just because I forgot and started to get lazy about it, where I would ask people random questions. And one of the questions, because it's such a fun ask, is how do you lose your virginity? 'Cause
Right.
It's usually a cool story. And I never told mine, but I was getting it from other people. So maybe we'll save it for the end. Should I
Okay,
save it
you
for
can
the end.
save it.
Maybe I'll get the question out of you, and then we could both tell ours at the end.
Yeah.
You down with
Okay.
that?
Yeah.
All right. But no, I like the fact that, you know, but like you're saying with the waiting, I think when you're an adult,
Right.
it's so old school and outdated to be
Right.
like, oh, you're supposed to wait a certain amount of time.
Right.
No, that just, I don't buy like that. You're
Especially-
yawning.
I'm sorry. No,
I'm
no,
just
I'm
giving you
sorry.
shit.
'cause of-
I'm giving you shit. No, it's late on a Monday. I get it. It's late on a Monday. Like, oh yeah, totally. You gotta fuck when you gotta fuck.
No, right. No, because I used to think that. But, like, if you're single, like, I mean.
Do you live
hey,
together, you two?
Yeah, we live
Yeah,
together.
because it's the same thing too. People say you don't live together until marriage.
Right.
Which can you imagine marrying someone
Right,
and then the next day
Right, yeah, the next
and
day.
you find
being
out
like,
they're the slob or they're
Right.
this or that? You're like,
Right.
I can't fucking live with you. Why did I do this?
like
Yeah, I
my-
love
my
you, but
friend, I hope she doesn't listen. She's not going to listen. All right. My friend has moved in with this guy.
you're not saying her name. So
I'm
it's
not
fine.
saying her name yet. Moved in with this dude in like day 2 or day 3. She never lived with anybody. He was biting off his toenails
Gross.
and then flossing with the nail.
Oh, that's gross.
Like using it like a toothpick. I'm like, holy sh! Because she's
Oh,
asking
my
me like,
God.
does your dude do anything weird that you? I'm like, yeah, he bothers me. He doesn't like throw away his trash and shit. And she's like, yeah, my dude bites his toenails off and like picks his teeth with it. I was like, yo, that's what the fuck.
That is
So alone behavior. Like totally. Like what's the grossest shit you do if you live by yourself? Because that's totally by yourself.
the grossest thing you do when you live by yourself.
Like if you live totally alone.
I lived totally alone for like 2 months or so, but
You know what I mean? Gross. Like
I don't think like
take a shit and leave it.
I've done that even when I had people living with me. Oh man, that reminds me. So
Oh my god.
when I was living in LA, she's behind me in that picture. I feel like she gets brought up way too often on this podcast. She's been on the podcast before too. Megan Gailey lived with me for like 9 months in LA because she just moved from New York and stuff. And I remember one time, I used to give her this. I used to joke with her saying she never flushes, but it was really one time this is so gross. I fucking went to like trim my pubes, you know? And so like, you know, I'm doing that standing over the toilet like a
Yeah, it's like-
gentleman. And then after doing that, I'm like, ooh, something, maybe I had some Taco Bell, you know? It's not I'm like, oh, I got to poop now. So I pooped on top of the pubes and then forgot to flush it.
Holy shit.
And then
That's like
she
so much
came
nasty.
home. She came
How did
home
you
and
forget?
saw just pubes surrounded by dump. I think it was her and my wife. They were like, that was the worst thing I've ever seen.
Right.
Because it
That's
looks
so
like some
nasty.
small rat
Right,
got choked
yeah.
up on my shit.
Right.
You know, like I pooped on some sort of dead animal. Yeah, it was
All that
bad.
red and brown.
Right.
Yeah, mostly brown though, man. That's a weird thing though, that some people think because you have red hair, your pubes are red.
Because some people are.
Yeah, but that doesn't match quite. I think pubes are naturally darker than your head color.
Right.
You know
yes.
what?
Right?
I think we're learning too much about your pubes, Joe.
Right.
I'm an open book. Yeah, I can talk about them.
Right.
You guys on camera want to see the pubes? Erica, you could leave the room for this. I'm sure you don't want to see them. No. I don't have pubes. What is this, 1999? Huh?
Oh, you're completely bald?
No, I trim her a little.
You
I'm not
just
completely
trim
bald.
it.
I don't know how dudes,
You
unless
trim
you're in
with-
porn, why would you be completely bald down there?
That's weird. Yeah.
Because
I
aren't
don't
you,
like that.
because the shaving the balls part.
Do you
You can't nick
shave
that.
them?
If you nick
Do
that skin-
cut-
Oh, yeah,
Do you
that's rough.
scissors or do
I
you
used to
use
have
clippers?
clippers that had the backside
Yeah.
thing, and I would do it with those for a while. And then when I moved from LA to Chicago, I lost the charger for those clippers. So now I'm just have these little pair of scissors I use. You know. So
This
you
is
two are both
interesting.
laughing like I'm the weird one. This is what
No,
people
this
do.
is interesting.
Okay.
This is interesting.
All right.
This
Yeah, I'll
is
tell you about it.
Yes.
Does your man trim?
Yes.
Yeah, you got to trim. It's
I
disrespectful
trim.
not to. You
I
have to.
trim.
You just trim?
Well, yeah, I get the sides. I
Yeah.
can't even tell what I'm telling. I get the sides lasered off.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is it an actual laser? They don't wax? You do a laser?
A laser, yeah, I know what.
Won't that scare you though, laser down there?
No.
I guess not. See, women's organs are inside. Though you're
Yeah.
protected.
Except
As
for my
guys are.
clitoris.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's not. But I mean, like, the reproductive
Right.
part. Like as a guy, our balls are just so
Right, like
delicately
dangling,
hanging there.
Right, yeah.
So
you don't want a
delicate.
laser around that. But yeah.
And it's a different kind of skin, so I'm afraid to
Yes.
take a blade to
It's
it because you gotta go
eyelid
so
skin.
slow.
Very reactive
It essentially is eyelid skin.
It's eyelid skin. Yeah.
Didn't someone make a joke about, or do they really do that? Do they take circumcised skin and make eyelids out of them? Why would you need to make an eyelid? But
Don't make me Google this.
don't Google, or you don't have to.
I'm
Google.
Googling
I know
it.
they use this skin to make dicks
The forearm skin.
Yes.
To make dicks, really?
for women. Yeah.
We talked about this on the podcast last week because I guessed that we were probably, just the way things are going, that we're probably about a decade away from dick implants are already a thing,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But a decade away from where they're actually like.
Fully functional.
Well, I mean, are they fully functional? Well, I mean, it's
Yeah.
Well,
not.
grown from stem
They're more
cells,
common.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably a decade from it being more common.
Yes.
I gotta imagine just the way things go.
Right. Yeah.
That's why, I think hair plugs are already becoming more common. Dudes are
Right.
getting those left and right. No one really thinks
Right.
anything of it.
Right. They
You
used
give
to.
it you look where you don't like it.
I don't know. Like,
Or
I'm
you
sure
don't
it's
care.
gonna look better.
Yeah.
You know, like, cause what did Brian Urlacher get?
He got the actual hair implant
Implants.
hair plugs used to look god awful.
Right, yeah, you
Now
could see,
could
like,
see
each- yeah.
it almost looked painful to look at because they're all spiky looking.
But
And
he got implants.
I think he got
You
like
got
a
full transplant.
hair
Yeah.
restoration thing where it's I don't know if it's his original hair or
Trying to
where the
find
hair
where-
comes from.
I'm trying to find where they took the hair from.
Yeah, but
Probably
I
his
didn't
hair.
know they
They
took.
take it from your.
So what do they do? Is
pubes.
shave
Do
skin
they?
off your forearm and add it to your
They
dick?
use. So a good friend of mine, her cousin is getting. So she's getting a penis. So you got to go through like 3 years of like psychotherapy and stuff like that. Actually, no, 2 years. Women only have to do 2 years. Men have to do 3 years because essentially a woman is
It's required by law.
it's
I'm new to
required
that.
by
I don't really
the
know the info
not by
about
law
this.
but by the surgeon.
The surgeon, okay.
Yeah, but women have to go for a shorter time because you're getting something added, and so they use like this skin and this skin because it's most closest to like a penis. Pretty much, you just take it, the skin and this fat, mold a fake little
See-
dick, and then there you go. But with the
Little
dude,
is it a little dick? Because that's sad. I used to say. I read a thing, not to cut you off. I read a
Yeah.
thing that 91%
Mm-hmm.
of men that transition to becoming women go like double D.
right? Yeah, of course, wouldn't you? Like,
And I'm like, is
I'm
that
a
the
woman.
last?
Yeah.
Is that the last shot of man that made
Right.
that decision? Like, oh, I'm getting these fucking huge. Are you kidding me? I've
Right.
waited my whole life.
Right.
And that'd be heartbroken if you're a
you get
woman
a-
transitioning and you're
you
getting like
get
a little dick. Come on, you want to swing some pipe?
because he's gonna have a bunch of meat. But you know how dudes they
Well,
like
yeah.
they you know how they slice your dick and then they fold it.
I don't like thinking about it, but I know that's what they do.
So they slice it, take the meat out, and then fold it inwards, right?
So that's what they do for a regular guy getting the dick implant. Like if
Or
you already
they-
have a dick, that's what they do to make it bigger.
No,
That's
no.
trans-
No,
What do
that's
they
how
do-
they give you a
trans women?
vagina.
Oh, for trans women, they do that. Yes, that's
for
right.
a dick implant, and my friend
Oh
has
yeah, they
done
split
it.
it. That's right. Yeah.
For my friend, they put like a oh god, it's so gross. So wherever they get the extra meat, they either put it on top of it. Like you lose like almost up to 70% of the nerve. It's like nerve damage. So it's just like you have this
yeah.
big dick, but you don't feel as much. So then she said there's another way of they put a pump through your dick and then like a squeezy ball in one of your balls, so you can like squeeze it and
That's how they do it for men with severe ED now too.
yeah.
Oh really?
So if you can't get erections or
That's
whatever,
gotta feel weird.
so you just like pumping, and your dick gets big.
It's almost like those Reeboks from the
Yeah,
90s, man.
it's like right.
Pump them
So
up,
she, like,
right?
she does that, but yeah, you lose so much.
help your
feeling.
vertical?
Help your lower
It'd be great. You got a
Right,
big dick and
yeah,
you're dunking
right,
now on
yeah.
people too. Damn,
Right,
it's like the male
right.
fantasy right there.
But
That's all we
she's-
want is to be able to
right.
dunk and swing some dick.
But
You know.
she's like, it's no purpose because you lose like up to 70% of the feeling. So it's just like you got this big dick, but it doesn't even feel good.
Yeah, you know, like a lot of the dudes in porn that are like freaks, they don't
Yeah.
get fully hard.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching on one of those HBO Real Sex where they were interviewing porn stars, and they were, I think the guy asked like what the perfect dick size was, And they also, I think they said like between 7 and 8. And the guy, whoever's interviewing was like, "Oh, that's surprising because you're getting, banged by way bigger than that." And they're like, "Yeah, they're not fully though. You see, like they, you could tell like they bend a certain because like it's too much blood goes down there.
Yeah,
you pass out, right? Yeah, like you're
just
swinging a foot long, man. Like, imagine how much. Yeah, that takes some energy though. So that's okay. I thought when you said the shaving the forearm off, I thought because we were talking about dick implant in the sense that you're some rich guy in the Hollywood Hills, and you're like, I want a bigger dick.
How do they? From your inner thigh,
and then they extend it out that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I just guess that the way things go, I'm like, a decade from now, you'll hear one of your gal pals going like, "Oh, he's got a fake dick, but I'm cool with that. It doesn't bother me." The same way guys are like, "Oh, she got fake boobs. I don't care."
Right.
Like you want to.
Yeah, it probably will be.
Probably,
but yeah, my friend was saying for a dude to like become like a woman, they got to go to therapy for much longer. Because once it's gone, it is gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
It is gone.
Yeah. I would think
like
that makes sense.
It's easier to add something, but yeah,
you got to be sure.
Yeah. Right.
Because isn't like Caitlyn Jenner still has?
Yeah. Still has a dick. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The last time I heard, I haven't checked lately. It's not in my fantasy league or anything. But yeah, like it's.
You're not worried about that? All right.
No, it's not.
See, you know what's weird? Okay, never mind. I wouldn't even go down this because this will become like some hate. Like people.
No, it's not. I don't.
Okay, all right.
We could
so
ask.
for real question is, I don't understand. Like Jenner.
I think they want people to talk about it. That way the stigma's away, and we could all.
I don't understand because Caitlyn Jenner still dates women.
Yes, that's true.
And still has a penis.
I think that's the thing that I
don't know what that makes her. Quote,
yeah,
Does it make her a lesbian or just make her straight? Or
I think a lesbian, right? Because what I've gathered is I've heard from friends talking. We know people who are trans and they're going through some stuff and which more encourage you. Well, there's a few comedians,
Oh yeah,
and, yeah.
Okay.
And I think with that it goes by person though,
right?
Because there are some people they're like I'm transitioning into becoming a man, but I'm still going to date women.
Right.
And then there's some I'm transitioning into a man and I'm going to date men.
Right.
So I think it kind of like is a case by case basis.
Right.
It's curious though. Like I feel like this kind of conversation. I mean, there's no hate with what we're saying. We're just we might come off as ignorant because we don't know.
I really don't know. Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with being ignorant.
Right,
it just means you don't know. People take offense to that word.
Right.
You call me ignorant? Fuck you. No, I'm not saying you're a bad person.
Right. Like I don't know.
You don't know.
Right.
So here's another straight guy's opinion on this, which I'm sure the world wants to hear. I personally, I think that like if you're transitioning to whatever gender you are, you identify as that gender's sexual preference. So if you're,
but not always.
No.
And also more power to everyone. We support you.
Sure. But I think like as a
do that.
As a baseline, it would be safe to assume that a trans woman, so a man transitioning to a woman who would still date women, would prefer to be called lesbian.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, to clear something up,
Good point, yeah.
Caitlyn went under the knife in 2017.
Really? Because at first,
Caitlyn's full ballot or first ballot Hall of Famer woman now.
But did Caitlyn go through the 3 years, or did rich people get to go away with everything? Don't they? They circumvent the 3 years.
Wait a minute. Yeah, did she go through the 3 years?
Getting to college easier too.
I mean, she killed someone with her car, so she
got away with that.
Murdered someone. Yeah.
I don't think she's thinking about the 3 years of therapy.
Wait, and so
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. CJ Sullivan had this great fucking joke.
Wait,
real quick. CJ Sullivan had this great joke about Caitlyn with the car accident.
Yeah.
He said it was it wasn't a manslaughter, it was translaughter. So that's unbelievably funny.
That's funny.
That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny.
So wait, you said she's the first woman to be a Hall of Famer?
Oh
no, he was just making a joke.
Yeah, she's the first ballot Hall of Famer woman. But she went.
Talk about that.
She had.
That bothers me.
She first transitioned she came out in 2015 and she had the surgery in 2017. So she's a year, I guess.
She did have it though?
Yeah, so 20, but still skipped the line. It's supposed to be 3 years.
Yeah, she skipped it. Yeah.
A year and a half. They gave her a discount.
Skipped.
But I could understand so Caitlyn Jenner won Woman of the Year. And really a lot of women I know were upset about that, but the women I know who were upset about that weren't the most active, like feminists, like, weren't the most, And you could respect Caitlyn Jenner for having the guts to be like, hey, this is how I've always felt. And that's fine. But I also don't think she should have won Woman of the Year either.
Right.
You were a woman for 5 minutes. What the fuck? There were a lot of women out there doing amazing things.
Yeah. I don't know what comic said that, but it's like, right. That takes a lot of fucking courage to come out. Like you were this huge, what what did Bruce win? Like the
swimming?
Decathlon?
No, decathlon. Track and field. Sorry.
Yeah, and then you're just known for being like the Wheaties man and all this
Olympic
shit. So
gold
I know
medalist,
it's
like, one of the
very
best
hard
athletes in the world at one point. Yeah.
But Woman of the Year, like.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was just some publication trying to. That's what the problem right now is. They're all just trying to get clicks and outrage, and outrage leads to more money because they can sell their ads on the side.
I seriously think that's what's happening because it's like some of the shit that's happening. It's just like Gucci with this like it's like some things. I feel like people are just doing stuff because it gets like clicks and like you can't be this dumb. Like you can't be this like Gucci makes a hoodie that has like a black face and we didn't know we'll do better, but. For like a whole week, it's just Gucci.
No,
H&M. Oh no!
Was it H&M or Gap? One of them made
with the hoodie that says one monkey.
Or no, it said craziest little monkey in the jungle.
Right, and they're like, we didn't know, we didn't get it.
I had a couple black friends who didn't think it was that.
Yeah,
that one was that bad.
Yeah, but it's just like.
But it's also poor taste.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's in poor taste.
It's not.
But it's like definitely.
Yeah, that was a weird move.
Right.
Someone had to have been like, wait.
Right, like
every kid should be allowed to wear this sweatshirt.
Right, but like they'd be like, put it on somebody else.
We're not there yet.
Right, they'd be like, put it on somebody else. Like, but it's just like I can't believe you guys are that dumb. I feel like
I agree with you.
Enjoy the it's worth it of the clickbait of
because then you get the apology. We fucked up.
Right, because they donated like $5 million. You saw that?
Yeah, they donated a bunch of money and said we're sorry. And
we're gonna hire somebody on our staff, and it's just all
because I think some of these companies are hiring these PR firms that are saying, all right, well, let's look at your cost. Advertising is always expensive.
Right.
You know what's cheap? This.
Right.
I think that's a big part of why Trump did so well because people couldn't even believe he was running.
Right.
Every news network. Right. He got free advertisement all day.
Right.
All they talked about was Trump all the time.
And they never talked
during
about
the primaries.
Right.
You know, and
he was excited.
Well, I realized with elections is that it's whoever's the brand name has the huge advantage. So going into the primaries, Trump was the biggest brand name. Mm-hmm. There was like 18 Republicans running. Mm-hmm. He was the most recognized name by far. He's been a household name since the freaking 80s. And then the Democratic side, Hillary had been a household name since the early 90s. Mm-hmm. So everyone knew them. So they already had this huge leg up on everyone else.
Right, yeah.
So that's what kills me about our elections right now. And I'm not even like knocking Republicans right now. This goes Republicans and Democrats. You want the best candidate, but instead we gravitate towards, they're getting talked about the most. So it must be this person.
That's how it is.
And they might be right. And I've never heard of this person, so fuck that person.
Right.
So that part bothers me. Republicans were smart enough to figure out, though, we don't care how pure you are or how good you're going to be or how good you've been. Can you win?
Right.
Where Democrats don't care about that. They want like this. Are you an angel?
Right.
Oh, you tweeted this 17 years ago? Well, you're out. Like,
see, what do you think about like the cancel culture? Like, I'm gonna say this. I don't give a fuck if the next person, like who I'm a big huge fan of, like, I'm trying to think, Eddie Murphy. I don't care if he has I'm trying to think of what white dude I love. Michael Douglas.
Sure.
He famously said that he got throat cancer from eating too much.
I don't care if they have a video
puss.
of him with a Klan outfit on. Like, I'm not canceling another fucking person. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's not like I don't disagree with what they did and shit. It's just like now it's just becoming like we can find anything that you said. 19 years ago. Like, and it's just like, and then you're done with, and you lose all your endorsements, and you lose your job, and it's like, because the thing that fucked me up about R. Kelly is like, forgetting what he did, I think R. Kelly's a dope artist, right?
Sure.
But all of this
Still
shit,
the same way about Michael Jackson,
yeah, all of this shit has been said like a million fucking times in like one documentary, and then like everyone's just like, oh my god, like. All this shit happened like 25 years ago. You guys knew it then. You didn't give a fuck. Like now everyone's like, oh, we got to cancel and like mute our Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I know, I hear you completely.
None of this shit is secret. None of the shit about Aaliyah. None of the shit about the pissing on the girl. Like, you were all aware of this. You didn't care. But now, because Lifetime showed a documentary, now you care.
Yeah, it's like people only give a shit when you see something. Yeah, there's a phoniness to it. And everybody wants to be a crusader now. Right. Which there are some things that are definitely worth crusading for, 100%. Right. But like with like Michael Jackson, the documentary, someone asked me, have you seen it yet? I'm like, no, I haven't watched it. And I'm probably not going to. I mean, maybe if I got some time to kill. But I've known these allegations forever.
Right.
And my heart goes out to the kids if it's true and all that. And like I was actually at like a little corner bar on Saturday night drinking with an old friend, and a Michael Jackson song came on. I think it was Beat It or something. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It was a DJ too. And I'm like, oh, this he doesn't care. That's great. And I looked around, and
Nobody
people
cared,
were like, like everyone's having like,
Right.
I'm like, you know,
yeah, my
'cause
students ask me like, oh no, Miss Clark, what are we gonna listen to on Halloween? I'm like, Thriller.
yeah.
Fuck, yeah, right? I don't give a fuck. Yeah, we're listening to Thriller. I don't give a fuck. Yeah,
I mean, because it gets to the point where, yeah, you'd like all your heroes to be angels,
but they're not.
They're not, and I think there's
Right.
something about art, especially where to create genius art, there has to be something that happened to you. Michael Jackson's dad. So there's been stories that he was chemically castrated by his own father to keep his voice high.
Oh God,
You've heard this, right, James?
Yeah, I've heard it.
I'm not making this up.
I don't think it's true though, because he has kids.
Well, they took the sperm because the mother of those kids said they never had sex.
Yeah, he never had sex.
They never
with,
had sex.
Debbie, whatever that lady.
Yeah,
Really?
they never actually had sex.
No, he never had sex.
Those were signed. Those were test tube kids
Yeah.
made somehow.
Yeah.
And if you're worth what Michael Jackson's worth, you could figure that out.
Right,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, yeah, they never had
Yeah.
sex. She said they never had sex.
Never had sex.
And
with
I think
her,
Lisa
yeah.
Marie said they never had sex.
Yeah,
either.
they never had sex.
So, yeah, and then R. Kelly was sexually abused as a kid. And
Yeah, by
again, I'm not
sister.
condoning this, but
By
there,
sister, yeah.
there's, you know, it's
Right,
horrible,
that's-
but
Right.
it's just
know.
weird to be like,
I think we're in this new era though, where because of like all of the connection we have with social media and stuff, and like all
Right.
the accountability that people have, like even if it is like annoying as shit with all the cancel culture and shit, we're in a place where the newer artists and the people who are going to take over won't have all of that baggage because there's so much
oh,
accountability.
they'll fucking hide it better.
out
Or
there.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll
Yeah.
just hide it better.
Yeah, you'd have to be really good at hiding it though.
Yeah, I'm not saying
Right.
let's turn a blind eye towards any of this stuff.
Right.
If you're a horrible person, if
Right.
we find out, you know,
It's
Kendrick
just-
Lamar's raping women, which I'm not putting that out there. He's not. He's a great artist. He's a great guy from everything I know.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, yes, I would hope we would put him in jail and
all
all
I'm
that.
saying is nowadays it's definitely harder to be a piece of shit, which is
Right.
good because
Right.
now we can hold each other accountable.
But
and
do you
actually
think
put
that
good
people
up there.
are like how you were saying before? I think before we started, like everybody wants to be like offended, like everyone wants to be a part
Oh,
of it. Like
absolutely.
like you know what I mean?
That's a
like,
huge problem.
Like for instance, I want shit.
No, you were talking about a friend of
I
yours.
wanna say
No, I remember
something.
this. I'll get you back on topic with this.
Yeah.
Before, when we were hanging out
Yeah.
at the club, you were saying that you had a friend of yours who was talking about how Trump is the worst president ever and all
oh
this.
my god, and I can't even have sex. Like, how can you people have sex with him in office? Like, bitch, what? Like, people were fucking and there were slaves. There were slaves in the White House. What the
Yeah,
fuck are
like-
you talking? Trump is the worst. Like, are you? But like, it's so crazy. Like, I'll tell you,
And he's not. He might not even be top 10 worst.
Right.
And I don't like the guy
Right.
at all. I think he's an
right,
embarrassment.
but it's just like a principal I work with. Like everyone, like it's just like crazy to me. Like everyone wants to be like a part of like a offended or have something. Like a principal was saying, we were doing Black Lives Matter week, and they let me teach Black Lives Matter. It was a mistake. No, but I was straight up because they were doing.
Why
the
was
whole,
it a mistake for you to teach
It wasn't a mistake, but they were going with the whole Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. I'm like, that's not Black Lives Matter. That is civil rights. It's Black Lives Matter. You weren't, started with the Trayvon Martin thing, and whatever. So I'm teaching the kids about that or whatever. And then a couple other teachers picked up on it, and they were telling their students. And I guess a white mom said to the principal, I think it's really, I don't think my student, who her student was in 5th grade, like, is ready to hear these things. Like, he just needs to know that this is a good world and, we all love each other and blah, blah, blah and all this stuff. And I don't think my son is ready to know about, the stuff that's going on with Black people, right? So my principal, I guess, said, oh, your privilege is showing a little bit. Because, like, while you don't want your son to know about it, there's other people's sons who have to know about it.
for
That's not really
survival.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes, yeah, your privilege is showing just a little bit. And she goes, privilege? I have been sexually harassed 4 times. And I thought that was the funniest shit I've ever heard in my. I was prepared to hear raped, like, but harassed, like, wait, 4 times.
I'll
And
have
it's
you
just
know,
like-
a guy called me sugar tits once. And I didn't like it.
Like, and I'm like, she really is going around saying, like, she said that straight dead face, like, yeah, a construction worker whistled at me. Like, how does
He
anyone
said, yo,
count
baby,
that?
did you bring that? Is there fries with that shake? Huh?
That's one. Yeah,
That's one.
I'm like,
Yeah, I
right.
documented it in my
You
journal.
were sexually harassed 4 times, so you don't. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like, you are taking that into.
That
Like,
reminds me of when I think it was Craig T. Nelson, said on Fox, when I was a young actor struggling out and I was on food stamps, nobody helped me. The food stamps helped you, asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone who paid taxes helped you. What the fuck are you? What are you on about?
Literally every American.
Did you not hear what you just said?
We all helped you. 300
Yeah.
million people helped you.
Privilege. I've been sexually harassed 4 times.
That's just so
You've had it so good you can remember.
Right, you can
Some people
remember.
have it every day, and it just becomes a blur
Right.
to them. Like,
And the fact is,
and it was
oh my
harassment
God.
too. It's
Harassment.
You sure a guy wasn't just flirting with you a little bit there?
I was
You know.
so ready for her to say like rape, and I was gonna be like,
Well,
wow.
then you'd have been like, oh shit.
Right? Yeah, that's fucked up.
But that's another thing that people need to understand about privilege, though. It doesn't mean like
that nothing's ever
yeah,
happened.
obviously there are white people who have gone through fucking hell and done
Right,
and
yeah.
and you know were beaten their whole lives or had a mom who
Right.
did this or a dad who burned them and all. There's obviously horrible shit out there. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But
You still get to live in a society built for you.
You're still not suspect of things.
Right. Yeah. All
Right?
the time. Right.
Yeah.
You know that's
And
there is a difference there.
And that's so like because he asked me like, was that offensive what I said to her? And I'm like, no, because that's like when someone she's using that to like counter her. You know, like, have you ever like said something to somebody, you know, and you're just like, oh, you know, you're a motherfucker or something like that. And
Yeah.
they're like, my mom's dead. You're like, oh, really? Like, you're gonna do that? Like, are you
Like, I
really gonna
knew.
fucking do? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know. Like, she's just using that to because you can't say anything after that.
Yeah, they're
like,
trying to-
Comeback.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I've
They're
been
trying to, like,
sexually
just-
harassed 4 times. Oh, okay. Sorry. Guess you're
Like,
not
well,
privileged.
She's like, well, it's gonna be 5th one there, fat ass. Leave. Yeah, count that one for. No, I'm kidding. That would be really
Nice
really bad
tits,
to be that
bitch. Get the fuck out of school.
Yeah, here's a quarter. Go shake that ass to someone who cares. Oh man.
It's like I could never be a feminist. I'm so sorry. I
hope
can't
she
be.
listens to this.
I can't be.
I think you can't be a feminist the same
Because
way
I'm
that
black.
you. Well, yeah, maybe. Well, no, I'll give you an example. I can mention. I'm sure she wouldn't
Yeah.
care. Kelly Howard, a friend of ours, comedian. I hope a friend of yours.
Yeah,
Like, fuck her. No, I'm kidding. Well, you ever
What?
assume friends?
No,
and you
no.
like, no, I'm kidding. No, I should get Kelly. I think she tried to get her once before, I believe. But I remember showing up to Laugh Factory, and I hadn't seen her in a while, and I noticed when people put an effort into how they look, whether they're a man or a woman. You know, I did jokingly talk about how I ran into a friend of mine. I didn't see him in like a year, but his complexion was completely clear, and I didn't know how to be like, hey, way to get rid of those zits, pal. Like, I didn't know how to do that. You know, I was trying to talk to Sam and Tessa with a guest last week, and they're like, why don't you just say he looks nice? I'm like, well, way to make it weird. Like, you know,
You
really,
look nice.
I think
And
it's a
you
little
know-
more complicated than
Right.
that. You got to be specific, I
Right,
feel like.
yeah.
So I saw her, and I was like, by the way, you look great. Is that okay to say? And she looked at me like, fuck yeah, it's okay to say. Like,
Right.
yeah, why would I be mad about that?
Right, 'cause
I could tell it was like her way of being like, I'm not like these fucking
Right,
idiots over
yeah,
here. If I look nice and you want to say I look nice, I'm not going
Right.
to assume. I'm not going to write a blog about you, Joe. It's fine, all that.
Yeah.
And I get it, and that's not to like downplay some people's struggles about shit, but
Yeah.
I do realize that, you know, as a black woman, I'm sure you've dealt with some stuff.
Right.
Even though,
Yeah.
and we'll get to, if you don't mind, we can talk about your upbringing a little bit.
Yeah,
If you don't
yeah,
mind.
yeah.
But you've still obviously dealt with shit
Right,
for
yeah.
sure. And I noticed I have some friends who are, like, you know, you and I are left, but I know some people who are like, dude, you're just straight up communist now.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm not a communist,
like,
man.
yeah,
I'm
we're
not.
talking
I'm not
about
on
that,
that
yeah.
fucking team.
Yeah.
Fuck communism. I'm not into that at all, dude. I believe in some. I call it moral capitalism, where it's like, it's anyone can start their own business. You want to get rich, do that. But
Right.
let's also let's take care of each other. Let's have some universal health care. Let's invest in education because that's investing in our future. Let's like do some stuff like that. Let's watch out for global warming because you can't have a business if everyone's fucking
Okay,
dead.
Joe. But what Chinese kids are going to make all the shit you want to get done with that?
Oh.
Huh?
Okay,
Okay.
real quick.
There is no ethical consumption or capitalism, Joe.
Well, that we could work on, but you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying I like that either. By the way, I'm pretty sure Android is fucking
Sorry,
using
that
those
was
same
my-
kids that Apple's using.
That was my Nicky Martin impression.
The
of
people
Solid,
who
I
make
like it.
androids get
He's fine, I like he's
$16 an hour.
Yeah, they are way
Full
better than the
benefits.
35 cents that my Chinese kid got. But like, where was I going with that? Oh, so yeah, I noticed that some of the people who are like pushing like economic policies, where I'm like, what the fuck? That's
Right.
like kind of grew up with money.
Yeah, we were talking
so I'm
about
always
that,
thinking that's
yeah.
easy for you to say. I'm not saying all feminists, but there are some that were like, all right, the ones. Look, I know some that are the best people I know. And like I agree with the feminists. The core principles of feminism I agree with. They want equality economically, politically, socially. Perfect,
That's it.
right? But then there are some who you want want revenge, and they want to be treated like a victim because they've created
Right.
that identity around that.
All women
And
want
luckily, I don't know too many like that.
is equal pay and like free abortions and for dudes to go to jail if they rape. Like that's pretty much
easy.
it.
You should. Everyone should support you.
I
Rape
wanna
someone,
be-
go to jail.
Right.
If
I
you're,
want an abortion for free and pay me
Yeah.
And like birth control for free. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Birth control for free. Yeah, I mean, I think
Right,
all that reproductive rights, yeah, because that's
shit.
part of being a woman.
Right, yeah.
You know,
That's
some
all
people
that
look at
shit.
like, what do I got to pay for that? I'm like, well, you have a different body, fuckhead, so it's a little different. Yeah,
It's weird.
I understand that.
Like being black and female, because you kind of have like both. Like, because I was getting an argument with some lady, some teacher I work with, because she wasn't understanding. I don't even know if they still have it now, but you remember with like in the NFL to like handle like domestic players with like domestic violence. Oh my God, there's like a committee that's in the NFL that's like for the NFL players when they're like in domestic problems or wants to decide if they should be suspended for the team or how. Do you know about this?
Yeah, they have like a program for like how to rehabilitate them, kind of a thing.
And
yeah,
like what and decide how long they should be suspended for. And it's like four white women like. And I was just like, I really don't think that 4 white women
Is it 4 white women?
Yeah.
That's pretty creepy in a league that's 86% black.
Black,
you know what I mean?
male, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's weird,
They
right?
should, the white women should be able to decide on the kickers and the quarterbacks.
That's
And I don't know how
what I
quarterbacks.
said. What the fuck are they doing there?
You want to go harsh on a punter, fine.
Right? Like, so I'm like, so some black guy beats up his wife. Right? I'm not trying to say that's like right or wrong.
Of course, yeah, that's
but he
black
beats
or
up
white
his
doesn't
wife,
Hispanic.
and then it's like the committee is like ran by like 4 white women who decide like how long he should be suspended, and like this is Roger Goodell's way of like including women and stuff like that. But it's just like I don't know if that's like I don't know.
You should have 3 black women and 1 white woman. If you're
Or just like a white man, a black man,
or having some men in the
men,
equations.
Right? Because they'll be like, just fucking, he's suspended for the whole.
It is
season.
crazy that like weed was getting you in more trouble than punching a woman in the face.
Yeah,
was.
right.
It's fucked up.
Right? Because like, who's not Reggie Bush? What's
Kareem
the
Hunt
dude's-
recently had a thing where he kicked a woman, and that was on film. It wasn't a great kick.
Oh yeah, that dude. Yeah. I saw him. Yeah,
and then he said she called me the N-word, and maybe there was something because it got escalated quickly enough where she must have said something. And
it's funny because you see the video and hear no audio, so you're just like, well, what?
Well, no, yeah, and you know what's so weird nowadays, and it's because of I don't know if it's the 140 or 280 character world we're living with Twitter now, is you can't even like. I feel like even what I just said there, she must have said something. Some people listening might be like, "Well, fuck you. It doesn't matter what you said," which I would agree with.
That's just that.
But clearly,
Stop.
well, maybe I don't know. Look, I don't think you should ever hit a woman, but there comes time where if you push someone too far. I think actually it's okay to hit a woman with this. I remember seeing a clip that someone was sharing on Facebook where this woman was punching the fuck out of this dude in the back. He was trying to walk away from the situation.
Right.
He kept trying to walk away. She kept following him, hitting him in the head, throwing shit at him, all this stuff. And finally, he just turned around and fucking shoved her.
Right.
And there were some comments being like, no, never. I'm like, no, because at that point, it's self-defense. He took like 7 hits to the head, was trying to get away from her, and finally was like, nah, fuck this, and gave her a shove.
Right.
I don't think that dude should go to jail for that.
No.
I really don't.
My dad told me that. Like, never put your hands on a guy. And if he puts his hands on you somebody better end up in a fucking hospital. Like, but he was just like, don't put your hands on a guy. Don't put your finger. You know what I mean? Like,
has a guy ever put his hands on you? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, my ex-boyfriend, like, it wasn't like a oh my God, shaking and shivering. Like, he pushed me like hard, but we were drunk and we were arguing. So he pushed me, but there was like a couch behind me, so I fell over. I can't even believe I'm telling you.
Fell over the couch?
Fell over the couch, right? So that made me even more angrier. So this is a bad story on my part. Okay, so I was angry. So God, this is fucked up.
Yeah, you don't have to tell if you don't want to.
No, I'll tell you. Okay. So I was angry. So I got a knife, and I sliced down his arm. Right.
Yeah.
And the second I sliced,
real quick, if you cut someone, they're allowed to push you. I think that's a fair exchange.
No. That was after he pushed me. I fell over, and then I was just like, oh, so I got the knife.
Oh, he pushed you, and then you got the knife. Oh, well, you're in the right
so
there.
He's just like, what are you gonna do with? And then I just sliced his arm. And like the second I pulled my arm back, it was like a knock at the door because we were arguing for like a long time.
Huh?
So I opened the door. Like, I had a knife in my hand with blood on it, and it was 2 cops there. So they're like, "Is everything all right here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." My boyfriend's holding his arm.
He likes a steak rare. That's all that is.
My boyfriend's holding his arm. And they're like, "You okay?" And he's like, not saying anything. They're like, "Okay, well, your neighbors called and blah blah blah. You guys are arguing. When there's a domestic dispute, we have to leave. Someone has to leave, right?"
Yeah, that's what they protocol.
Right. So, I'm just like, well, okay, get him out of here. And they're like, well, ma'am, you have a knife in your hand, and you seem very upset. And I was like, no, this is my apartment. They're like, yeah, okay, we know. They're giving me that whole we know and pushing me like towards the door and like, and I'm just like, no, I live here. They're like, yeah, but you seem extremely agitated. So they took me and they made me check into a hotel, which is like the craziest thing to do. Like I went to a hotel with like 2 cops. They looked like a fucking stripper because it was like we had gone out that night. So I had
so you're dressed up a little bit.
Yeah, you said dressed up a little bit. Just like a whore with 2 cops.
I would never say that. I would never
just like a
that.
fucking whore with 2 cops with me checking into a hotel and shit, which looks terrible. But so yeah, nothing was ever brought of it. But so that was the only time that escalated quickly. I'm going to definitely say because of like liquor and that he pushed me. And you know what it was? The reason why, because the argument was so dumb.
Cubs or socks? What was
no,
it?
It was like we were at a random club and I saw a guy I went to grade school with, right? So I went up to the dude and I was talking to him, right? And in my boyfriend's drunken head, I was like all over the dude or whatever. And like, so it's just like, you left me for like 20, 30 minutes to talk to some dude and be all over him. So I was just like, oh, that was crazy. Like, and you know how you, like, if you were sober, this conversation would last like 5 minutes and someone would be angry. Yeah. If you're like 10, 11 drinks in and it's like, you're a fucking whore.
Yeah, it's a recipe.
You were trying to go over there and set up something for, when I'm out of town next week and suck his dick. Oh, okay.
Yeah, men always tend to think that horrible way. I had a phase where I didn't like it when my now wife, but when she was my girlfriend, I didn't like it when, like, if she would go out with her friends and I'd see like a picture and she was like dressed up, like, oh, the cleavage is out, huh? What the fuck is that about, huh? Do you know why I didn't like that so much?
Oh, you got to tell me.
I'll tell you why. At the time, this would have been 2004-ish, 2005-ish.
Okay.
There was a hit song by a great artist named Beyonce, in which she said, "If you're not with me, there's no one else to impress." So she said, "I don't get dolled up if you're not around." So I held my girlfriend to the Beyonce standard.
Because Beyonce said, if you ain't there, ain't nobody else to impress.
That's the lyric.
Yeah.
Yep. You know the song.
Yes.
Crazy in Love.
And so because you,
I think all women should act like Beyonce. Well, I don't know.
So you deemed that she was trying to impress somebody.
I figured, I had this real. It was just an insecurity on a man's part. That's all it is. Why do we have that? Because I must go back to caveman shit. I've thought about this for a while because I used to. It shifted with me though as I got older because I'm like, oh, she's hot. I want to show her off. Right. And there was a couple times where I'm like, no, wear the sluttier shirt. I didn't call it that, but I'd be like, we're because I'm like, oh, this is because as getting guys look at hooking up with women as a skill. Okay. Right. And so when we have one that we love and that we like a lot, we're always afraid that someone else wants that too.
Right. But you should want someone to want that.
Yeah, you're right. You should.
Right.
But and a lot of guys in our generation, especially, I'm sure it's gone this way in the past. Actually, I know this because when I was in Ireland, I had a great uncle told me that because we were talking about Irish families, and he said that back in the day, and this was true in a lot of ways, Irish men would they'd have kids like back to back to back, 3 in a row. Like you'd have a kid born in 1970, 71, 72, just for reference. And he told me that Irish men would do that because after 3 in a row, no other man would desire her.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up to think about. Yeah. Like you're purposely having 3 kids in a row to fuck up her body. Yeah. To make her this like exhausted mother who's like tired. I got bags under my eyes. Yeah. Tits are down to her knees and no one's into that anymore. I don't know. I mean, it must be like caveman shit where it's like I'm the hunter. I found my gatherer and I got it's got to be there's so much about what we do. I realize as much as we've evolved, things go back. Like right now, what we're seeing is the internet gave voice to people who didn't feel like they had a voice, which is cool, right? Right. Although some people don't need to have opinions on everything. We all agree there. I don't care what you thought about the latest movie. But because of that, they don't realize a lot of these people are treating what's happening in society like it's high school. Right. I could see them. I'm like, oh my God, look who's at the cool kids table for the first time. Right. And now you're treating everyone else like shit. And you're doing what was done to you.
Do you think do you think it's hard to be in a relationship you see you're married now and you've been with your wife for how long?
We've been together a long time, since high school. We were broken up for a little bit there.
Ooh, what'd you do?
Not that long. What'd I do?
Yes,
we just
what
needed
did you
time
do?
Apart.
What did
I did nothing.
you do?
I was a perfect
that wasn't my
angel.
question.
Oh, what did I do to make time apart?
Yes.
It was kind of amicable.
It wasn't. It's never. That's a lie. Amicable and
okay, well
breakups
then it was more me.
Are live.
It was more me. I thought at the time it was for the best, and it clearly was because we're fucking amazing right now. And we're about to have our second child, and things are awesome. That it felt like because we'd been together since high school that we needed to kind of experience life outside of each other and our social circles. Apparently, because you get to a point in a relationship. I think everyone has this in a relationship. Some people need to break up to get it better. Because I thought like we break up, if we get back together, we'll be better than ever before. And if we don't get back together, then we weren't right for each other. And it's good to know that now. And you could go off and find your happiness, and I could too.
Right.
But we were right for each other, and thank God we figured that out. Everything was great.
How'd you guys get back together? Like the actual like what was the step or what was the step she took?
I ever told anyone this? I got home from working or something, and I was on Facebook, and I saw she was on Facebook, and we were starting to talk again, and they kind of said, "Hey, what's up?" And we were talking a little bit before, and I was telling her how much I missed her and all this kind of stuff, going back and forth about that, and then I was just like, I miss you, I want to see you, and she said, "Come over," or whatever, and then I fucking shut that computer. I don't know if it was a laptop, it was a desktop, so I don't know I'm shutting anything. But yeah, I fucking slammed that piece of shit Dell. And I got in my car and I was fucking hauled ass over there and rang the doorbell because she moved back in with her parents and started making out right there on the front stoop.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a Hollywood thing.
So sexy. That's so beautiful.
I don't know maybe we were drizzling out actually. Now that I think about it.
Oh my God, I love that.
But yeah, I think a lot, people, when you get into relationships, even the ones that you think, even people don't realize you could be madly in love with someone, but things could still not be going right.
Right.
And I just felt like we're going through the motions right now. And if this continues, I just don't see any, you almost need a little distance what's the distance makes the heart grow fonder or whatever. I don't know. You just kind of
How long were you broken up for?
Oh, I don't know, like handful of months maybe.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like crazy long. It wasn't like a full year.
And stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like years or anything like that. But you were asking me something that didn't relate to me though, because I'm bad with some people. Are like, well, what about this with you two? I'm like, well, we've known each other forever, so that doesn't really apply.
Right.
How long was it before you were like, let's move in together? Because you had sex after 2 days, so did you move in like that weekend? Or? I'm just giving you shit. I agree with the sex right away, though.
What the fuck?
Why not find out right away? I'm not saying sex is the most important thing, because you.
But exactly.
But
I have a man.
It's important though, right?
I have a man mind when it comes to sex. Like I'd rather get that out of the way and know if it's like worthy. I don't understand.
100% honest.
Yeah.
Was it good right away?
It was potential.
There you go. That's what I wanted to ask, because I've talked about this with people before. Not to cut you off.
Right.
I just wanted to get this point before I forget it, because I'm an idiot. Is that you have to at least test drive.
Right. That's all it was. It's like, okay, his dick is big enough, right? It's large.
We've heard the joke. Erica's got this great joke.
Right. So I was just like, well, like seriously, that's what I was thinking, because the person I was
must
with
be his favorite joke of yours, by the way.
The person I was with who had a really tiny penis, and it wasn't even like I will give a tiny penis a chance if I like their personality, but his personality.
You ever had good sex with a tiny penis?
Yes.
See, there you go, tiny dick guys. There's hope, baby.
But he was just shitty and like selfish and like all this stuff. So when I got with my dude,
that's a bad combo. If you got a tiny dick, you better be nice.
Exactly.
You gotta be a sweetheart.
Sweetheart, you better eat pussy. But he was all like, yeah.
Didn't even do that.
So yeah. So when I got with this dude, like it was kind of like, yeah, first time it's like weird. It's just like, But it was just like, he has all the stuff that.
But you have to know, okay, I like him. There's a personal connection,
right?
And this is gonna fucking grow, right? You got to be able to build a house with someone,
right?
Meaning build some orgasms, right? That's how I.
So it's just like, okay, right. And at least he was trying to do it until I had an orgasm, but even though I didn't the first time, but it was just like, all right. There's potential. So
I mean, because that's pretty rare,
right?
That's the thing I think is for first time. Yeah, I bet if you pulled if you pulled women, how many times? What percentage of women have had an orgasm the first time they have sex with someone?
Fellas,
I bet it's a small percentage.
That's why you gotta eat pussy first.
But even if you do, but it's kind of like you're gonna be like,
would you count that though? Would you count if? I guess you would if you hooked up with someone. They ate you out, gave you an orgasm that way, and then you just had sex, and the sex was fine, but you didn't orgasm that way.
Yeah.
Would you be like, oh yeah, I orgasmed with him?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess you'd count that.
I
right?
would.
Yeah, that's a good point, James.
But
sure.
that's something because
But even so, though, first
hard
time's
to
rough.
be like it's hard to be like, oh no, don't do it that way. Go over here. You're just kind of nervous. You don't know.
And also,
well.
James, they're not like us. They have to be comfortable. Guys don't have to be comfortable.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
I used to do a joke about how,
that's very true.
As a man, we've always had, every guy does this where it's like, oh, come on, let's, let's have, I'm sure your boyfriend's had this where he's trying to get you and you're just like, I'm not in the mood, yeah, I'm tired, all this kind of stuff. Or maybe you're not because you have a male brain, like you said. But where, sometimes women really just aren't in the mood and you got to accept that because unlike guys, we could be like, oh, I got punched in the nuts 5 hours ago. I feel like shit. I just got done puking.
Right.
I think I need to go to the hospital for this thing. But I'll bang one out real quick. Let's do it.
Yeah,
we don't care.
Come on, yeah. Girls are more mental or cerebral.
You know what needs to be talked about women? I like having a woman on the podcast for reasons that I can't just say shit without a female input because I could be wrong. Is that fuck off, James?
No, Blake Burkhart says every woman ever with Blakey boy.
What do you say?
Has had an orgasm every woman ever with Blakey boy.
I believe that with Blake.
I believe it too. Blake, bald men are better at sex than any other kind of men. So
Blake's only recently bald though, and he's not even bald.
Oh, when you're bald, you're born bald, baby.
That's not true. Blake had hair up until like a year and a half ago.
You're born bald.
It'd be hilarious if there was a guy, not Blake, but there was a guy out there who was like, had a full head of hair, sucked at sex with bald champion. He's like calling up girls he used to bang, going, "Hey, I was terrible back then." I don't know if you heard.
Right,
I lost my hair.
Right, so
real quick, we have anyone in the chat we need to give a shout out to?
Chad McDaniel said.
Chad McDaniel, he's the man. What do you say?
Congrats on the second child.
Oh, thanks, Chad.
Brandon Damgard said, "Hello there. Pookie sent me here for a couch auction," which doesn't make any sense. So if you got a couch to sell, Joe, you better hit him up. Nolan said he's blocking you.
Sounds like no one.
Andy Harper said Stella. Come on, man. Stella's a fine beer. I don't know why.
Yeah, come on, Andy Harper. Stella's a good beer.
Yeah, but Andy,
give a suggestion, Andy.
But Andy Harper is a Google phone man. So congratulations, Andy, on being smart. Unlike Joe, who has an iPhone. And Blake also just said that he was getting it done even when he had hair because, like I said, you're born bald because you go bald eventually. So. Get wrecked, Joe, and keep.
I'm not shitting on bald dudes. I'll probably join you in a decade. Good on you, Blakey. Blake started a new podcast. Everyone, check it out. The Chicago Comedy Podcast.
Just plugged it.
Did he just plug it? Then motherfucker, fuck you, Blake. Blake's great, man. What were we on about again? Oh yeah, he's giving an orgasm right away. Whatever.
Speaking of plugs, we were talking about plugging people with your. That was a terrible. Fucking
plugging as in sex?
Yeah, come on, Joe. Pick this back up.
I will do my best to pick up where we left off with this. It's just interesting though because Erica was giving herself a hard time about having sex right away, but I just feel like you have to at least find out if there's a garden, if there's seeds worth planting,
right?
In that sense,
yes.
Right? It's like with making out. If the first time you made out with him, you're clanking teeth, that's pretty much
that's a no.
Obviously, you become. It's like comedy. Your first open mic, you're not ready. You may be okay. Some people have a good first open mic set, but you have to eventually get it going.
Yeah.
Do you want me to help you with the camera to get it where people can view it?
No, I just want to, let people see Joe. I don't want to go live for too long.
No, for sure. This has been really fun. I'm loving a lot of this. Erica started this story before we went into the sex, though, with talking about the stabbing. How much longer did that relationship last? There wasn't a stabbing; it was a cut.
A slice.
But you know what else I like about you? I'm sorry, because Erica. Every time I hang out with Erica, and Erica's got a very fun social media presence. I feel like you post shit.
Dude,
you post shit where I feel like I could comment in a fun way where I'm like just having fun with you, right?
But I always think because we joke. I can't even think of what statuses I put, and me and you have joked back and forth.
Yeah.
But I feel people think like, what the fuck is this Joe?
Well, because I've noticed that, like,
I have to be like, no, Joe is cool.
Well, because there's some threads that, as a white dude, you have to know you're gonna stay out of this one. Like with the Jussie Smollett stuff.
Right. I knew.
Yes, I know you knew that.
I knew it.
Well, but white people, not everyone though, because remember we had Chelsea Hood on, and she even said, "Well, look, Chelsea's great. We saw Chelsea Hood tonight, both of us. We both love her, and she'll admit because we turned her around on it. She made a reference to me like, "Oh, things are terrible right now. They're the worst ever." I'm like, "No, they're not the worst." And we went into the whole thing, and then she was like, "Well, how can you think?" I go, "Things aren't perfect, but they're better than they were X amount of years ago,
right,
or, And then she brought up the Jussie Smollett thing, and I go, well, real quick, I have a lot of friends who don't believe that. And she kind of gave me a look like, oh, you're dumb white friends. And before she could say that, and not to put words in Chelsea's mouth, Chelsea's amazing, everyone. I said, actually, I have a lot of black friends on Facebook. Right? I'm not going to name their names because that's not what this is about. I wanted to use you and 6 other people.
Right? No, but you could have
so
used
many
me.
people. I'm like, look, no, because it was. Does this must drive you fucking insane? How many times is it like ultra like lily white women who get offended on black people's behalf?
Right?
And I'm like, yeah, the black people I know think shut the fuck up. They don't want you talking for them. Right. You stop trying to like,
right?
You know what I mean? You're trying too hard and it's coming off disingenuous. And let them. They could. Right. You know, it's that shit bothers me.
Like, so here's the thing. Like,
because you did call that right away.
Every black person in Chicago, even if they said it or not, heard that story when it happened and was kind of like they may not have said anything, but there was just like everybody's antenna went up just a little bit. Like, if you hear that story from beginning to end, like the first day it was said, forget all about the brothers and like the whole story. It's just like your mind just instantly starts being like, that Tuesday night, like there were 3 days off for school because it was so motherfucking cold outside.
It was like minus 40 with the wind chill.
Right.
Real quick recap for everyone. This is the Jussie Smollett. He was on the show Empire.
Right.
He said that 2 white guys like tried to tie a rope around him and mugged him,
right.
and said this is MAGA country, which is the Donald Trump
Joe has
phrase.
to repeat the story like
no, I know because
the whole world.
You know what's weird? I've only started to get. I found out we have a lot of Australian listeners all of a sudden. So every now and then I want to refresh their memory. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So it was just like from hearing the whole story, right? Like from beginning to end, they were just like in my mind before I even looked on social media, there was just like, damn, it was cold as fuck that day. Damn, Subway, 2:00 in the morning, like,
and they just happened to know you were on Empire,
right?
And
yeah,
gay,
and like it was just like all this stuff, and it's just like some racist MAGA, and it's like Chicago is like. Chicago is not MAGA country. Like, not even in the remote, like I know people outside of Chicago think of Chicago as food and murders. You know what I mean? But it is not MAGA country. So there's just like, there was like all this stuff that I was just like, man, and I didn't want to say anything because I'm just like, everyone's putting this stuff out, and I'm just like, that's why I didn't even describe what I was talking about. I was just like, there's something about the story I'm not buying. And it was just like, every person knew what I was talking about. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't say Jesse, I didn't say his name. I was just like, there's something about I'm sorry.
But that was when I stayed away from the comments. Yeah. But what was interesting was half the people were like, I agree with you.
Right.
And the other half were like, no.
No, yeah. So, but I'm like, because it was like maybe 2 years ago, I wrote that. And then I got a lot of like kind of nasty inboxes. That fucking
2 years
cop.
ago, you wrote what?
I wrote about that cop. And I'm like, there's something about that story that's bullshit. Remember that cop, Joe, whatever, who said,
Joe Arpaio?
Joe, goddamn.
The one in McHenry that killed himself,
yes!
it turned out?
Yes, the one who was
my
just
dad
like,
called that shit right away, too.
There's 2 black guys and a Hispanic guy.
2 black guys in McHenry County who were just like,
I was like,
that was a bullshit story.
And they did this nationwide manhunt, and I'm just like, I don't know. That just seems in his mind. Well,
as a comedian,
huge life insurance. I'm like, something is so bullshit about.
You could smell bullshit. That's what I like about it. That's
and
what I was going to go towards.
That's what I'm like. Not like I knew the whole, but I was just like, something just doesn't add up. So not finding these guys, nothing was stolen. He's dead. He made sure he gave the description. And then, and they shot me.
Because if you commit suicide, your family doesn't get the money.
Right.
So he made it seem like a whole thing. And that was,
right,
I smelled that one right away.
And I always remember, I was like off work and I really wanted to watch Maury. And they cut into it for that fucking funeral, and I was just like, "This fucking." Do you remember that he was on? They had his funeral on all networks, and I was just like, "This motherfucker."
Yeah, that one smelled bad to me.
Fucking story.
Because I looked at I know McHenry County not well, but I know it. And I'm like, and everything about it just seemed very fishy. I remember like stopping at my parents' house for something, or talking to my dad that day, and because I don't think I was living in LA at the time, and he was just like, I don't buy that shit at all. I think he killed himself and he did this, and that's exactly what it turned out. Right? Yeah, it just didn't add up. But you have a good bullshit radar on you, Erica.
No, I don't. No,
you don't?
No,
I feel like you do, and that's why I like the story of you cutting the dude's arm, because I feel like you said you took the knife and he was like, "What are you gonna do with that?" I almost picture you. If I'm gonna write a movie about an action star, a female action star, you'd be a great model for it, because I could see you oh, you push me, you grab the knife,
right?
And then he's like, what are you gonna do with that? And before he can finish the sentence, you cut him, and go, that's what I'm gonna fucking do with that.
Right, but that's so bad. That's
badass.
bad. No,
I like that. I don't know. I like that kind of thing. You know, I root for that hero. That's what I do.
No, yeah, but.
James, real quick, I hate to do this. I've had to do this on the podcast before, and other people have to too. Could you two talk about whatever? And I have to piss real quick. I'll be back in 45 seconds. Yeah, Jesus, Erica can talk to your talk to your people. Just I don't know. Keep the conversation going for like 30 seconds. Sorry, everyone. This is unprofessional.
What happened to this?
We're just talking about bullshit. Sorry.
What happened to this dude? This ex of yours?
Like, oh no, we dated like. Sorry, we dated like probably dated like 5 more years after that.
5 years?
Yeah, after that, because we did a total of 7 years. Yeah.
Damn, dude. How did you keep it going after that?
It was just like one of those drunk. I was so mad and like, but we never got to that point again. Like, I don't know. Okay. There's no like, oh, sorry, I stabbed you.
Right. Yeah.
But
like, I mean,
there was
That's a crazy reconciliation.
Yes.
For like.
Yeah, but it never got to that point again.
Okay. Good.
Like in drunken anger.
Did you guys learn a lesson from it, or did you guys?
What's the lesson? What fucking lesson is there to learn? Don't touch me, or I'll stab you.
Don't drink 12 fucking drinks at once.
Right. In a 1 hour span, you're right.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, dude.
Are you in a relationship?
Oh yeah, 10 years upstairs.
Oh, 10 years married?
Yeah, I mean. Technically married, like, dude.
Common law married.
Yeah, for sure that.
Right.
We've been engaged for like 8. So it's
shit.
Like we just.
So what are you waiting for? Pull the trigger.
Money.
No. Okay.
We want to throw the party, man. I mean, we'll go to the courthouse, but like
Joe peed on himself because that was just. I've never seen a man.
Oh yeah, there's
pee
some drips.
I'll admit I didn't use soap. I rinsed them real quick.
This is my show now. Get out.
Is it? What are you guys talking about?
Talking about you.
You guys having fun?
Blake Burkhart is crushing it in chat. I'm so happy with Blake.
Plug my podcast while Joe pees. Oh man, this is hilarious.
Listen to Blake about to go to the movies.
Because the rest of the live is on Facebook.
Yeah, dude, that was a quick pee. I've had to do that a few times. Usually the guest has to pee before I do, but I had to break the seal first, as they say. Okay, so I missed the last part, but you dated for a little bit while after that?
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, 5 years
That's
after
good.
that. Yeah, so total of 7. Yeah.
And that was 2 years in you cut him?
Yeah.
You never cut him again after that?
No, we never cut.
Thought maybe after a while it'd be like a kinky thing you two do.
It's it's so fucked up because like on Facebook, like he's got a picture with his wife. It's so funny because he's got a picture there like at a Redskins game. And they're smiling, and you just still see the slash on his arm. And
is it scarred still?
Yeah.
How many? Did he get stitches? How many?
No, he didn't get stitches. Like, so it's like, how like when black men like get themselves like branded for like a fraternity, like how it's like raised up skin, like that's how it looks like. Yeah, it's like.
That's pretty cool.
So I always
is there a little party that kind of gets a kick out of that though? Come on, right?
I'm still fucked up.
That's my mark. That's what you fucking get.
Right.
Never question me again. If I want to flirt with people, I went to kindergarten with, that's my fucking business. Don't even worry about it. That's hilarious.
Right. So I always think
I have something similar. I remember I got into it was like a house party, and we were going to a big fight afterwards. Mm-hmm. And it was spilled into the alley, typical Chicago alley, right? I grabbed the one kid and slammed him into the garage door, and it dented the garage door. And if I'm ever in that neighborhood, I'll purposely drive down the alley to see if the dent's still there.
Right, you're like, yep.
And I just slow down and go, all right, nice. And then it makes me sad because I'm like, that was like a decade ago. They should have fixed this by now.
Right.
They're not doing that well. They're having their asshole son start bad parties.
So what's like the dumbest? Not the dumbest. Like,
are you asking me if I've stabbed someone in a
what
domestic
have you done
dispute?
for like a domestic? Like, how jealous have you gotten where you look back and you kind of like cringe, like Jesus Christ?
There was a dude. I got a reason why. This was in college. There was a guy that my wife was friends with, because she hung out with. There was like different groups of friends, but this was in college, and neither of us went away. We were both in Chicago, and this was a dude I'd seen at a few parties. And what I didn't like about this guy was he never said hello to me, never agreed or anything. And there was a picture of them together in which, and they're just friends, right? They're friends. So I didn't think anything worked.
Can I interrupt you? Yeah. How you're describing the story, like it has points, like these are valid points. Like he never said hello, okay? Like you're saying like that's something real.
4 times.
Right. Okay, so he never said hello. Your wife took a picture with him. Okay.
In the picture, his arms are on her waist.
Okay. God.
Now, there's a guy code respect thing. If I were to take
Wait,
a
pause,
picture
pause
with
for
James,
1 second.
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of course.
Did he know that you guys were together?
Yes, he did.
Okay. All right, now proceed.
Okay. That's part of the reason why I didn't like him, because he never said what's up.
Okay.
Because I'd seen him around a few times at like parties or bars or whatever group things where there's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Never got a what's up. And by the way, you could cut me off anytime. I've interrupted a few of your stories.
No. I'm just
get
fully,
you back on track, of course. Yeah.
Fully getting all this information.
Yeah, I get it. You
so he
want all
never
that
said
info.
hi.
Never
picture,
said hello.
arm around the waist.
Picture, arms on the waist, right? Now, James, just to get another male perspective,
Yes.
if I were to take a picture with your lovely girlfriend, Linda,
Yes.
and in the picture my arms are on her waist, wouldn't you be like, well, that's a little fucking weird?
No, I'm secure about my relationship.
You say that now, but if you looked at the picture later, you'd be like, that's quite strange.
I'd be like,
at the age of 20, 21, would you? 22? Or
I would have killed you.
Yes, it's a little different now, right? We do evolve, ladies. Men do evolve a little bit. But here's my theory. In my brain, and I've talked about this with other dudes, when you're taking a picture with a female friend, someone you're just friends with, like if you and I took a picture, my arm is on your shoulder.
Okay.
No problem there.
Okay.
Because that's a signal to your boyfriend who I've never met but heard great things about, that respect. Respect, man. You know? Arm around the waist, though, that is suggestive.
Now I'm going to look through.
There is no arm around the waist. You don't put your hand on another man's woman's hip.
Yeah, now you got me looking at.
That is bullshit.
Okay.
I think I'm dead on with that one. I really am. I believe I'm right with that.
Wait, now I feel like I got to.
Because say, have you ever taken a picture with someone?
I'm about to check.
Of course you have, but like you're checking for the hand on the hip?
Right.
I'm telling you. Here's another example. By the way, longtime listeners know I keep mentioning Danny Kales because he produces Comedians You Should Know with me. He's like my best friend.
Right.
He's never going to be on the podcast. Not because anything he's done. I've asked him 1,000. I said to him, I go, dude, we just celebrated the 1 year anniversary, so it's been 1 year of asking you. And he's just like, dude, I just don't want to be on a podcast. I'm afraid I'll be too on it. So he's never going to be on it. So I'm going to talk a lot of shit about him for the next 5 weeks. No, I'm kidding. There was Laugh Factory, like they're on their Instagram.
Okay.
You would post random pictures. And so it took me and Angelia, his girlfriend, were talking about random shit or whatever. And like their photographer was over taking the picture for the social. Was like, oh, you two get a picture. I put my hand on her shoulder and my knuckles are like this, not even to cup her shoulder, out of respect to my boy Danny, to be like, not that he would think anything because we're great friends, obviously, but like we're just friends. And some random not random, but like I don't know who they are. There was a couple comments from people because it's on their Instagram for Laugh Factory, which has a lot of followers. They go, what the fuck's with this guy's hand? They go, weird grip though, weird or whatever. Because I did that where I'm like, all right, picture, I wanted to make it clear that this is a friendly thing, out of respect. Now, if we would have taken that picture when my arms were on her fucking waist, or what's even worse is the creepy dudes who put their hand on the rib cage where their thumb is touching some side boob. That's fucked up, right? If that dude would have done that, and he had a real douchey fucking name too, by the way, this guy. If he would have done that,
Trevor.
Right.
Should I say the name?
Yeah, you should say the fucking name.
It was a long time ago. Name was Dash.
Dash?
Fuck, I'm not. I swear his name was Dash.
Was he an incredible? Yeah. Was he incredible?
I wish I knew that reference. I've never seen either of the Incredibles.
You've never
movies. Never seen either of them. Yeah, so I wish I knew the reference. I started in Incredibles 2 because I was trying to find something for my son to watch. It was on Netflix. I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't seen the first one, so I turned it off. And he was kind of like, I'm into that, and he's 2, so he doesn't give a fuck about a prequel.
Blake Burkhart says, "Put the hand on the hip and let the backbone slip, baby."
By the way, I like how Blake's using our comment thread for our live video as like his own personal open mic. Man, you're crushing it right now, Blake.
He's got the interaction going.
He does. No, I appreciate that. The more comments, the more people sees it. Thank you, Blake. I'm going to have to do that for your podcast next week. Dash. He likes that. His name was fucking Dash.
Dash, shut up.
I'm not kidding. And then I think the word got around because I remember seeing him not too long after that. And then he was like, hey, how are you, man? What's that like? And I kind of was like, yeah, all right. Don't act like you even fucking ignored me, Because you know what that was? I'm 1,000% convinced, and there's nothing my wife could ever say to convince me otherwise that he didn't want to fuck her.
You're right. Okay, so here's my question. Damn it.
And he didn't give a shit that I was there, and that's a disrespect thing.
Because I'm going to ask you a question, but I want you to ask it on my. I want to just.
You want to get on yours?
Live.
No, it's fine.
How do I go on live on Instagram? Why am I having problems figuring out how to do this?
If you don't mind, you go to your thing right here, right? You got to post another thing, so you hit that. Wait, the fuck?
See?
Do you not have the latest upload of that?
Yes. Are you gonna play me? Are you playing me?
I got out of your Instagram. I don't even know. I'm sorry. I don't know how to use an Android.
Would you like me to help you?
James is a tech guy.
Because I just posted a video beforehand.
Yeah.
Now I'm
But no, you want to
get
get a clip for this? I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I want to ask you a question.
You're providing me content. I'll provide you content.
I want to
Goes both
ask
ways.
you a question about whatchamacallit. Do you think every guy wants to fuck your wife, or do you particularly know what guy wants to fuck your wife?
I can usually tell which guy.
And
real quick though, every guy wants to fuck every woman. Probably.
Oh my God, that is not true.
I mean, it's not. You're right. It's not true.
Like,
so
every guy would fuck.
every guy would. Yes. You know what I mean? Because there's some women who look like wildebeests. I'm not being a dick, but and they're men. They look terrible. The difference is though. You're right. What you said, every man would. That's the key.
Right.
So if you are like, you get locked into a ATM bank vestibule and it's 6 hours before something happens,
right,
and the guy that's you're with looks terrible.
Right.
He's being nice. He's not bothering you though or anything like that. But you're like, this is one of the ugliest guys I've ever seen. At no point would you entertain fucking him.
Right.
Say you're single. Obviously, take your mind out of the relationship.
Okay.
Any man, if he's if he's single, of course, and there's a woman who doesn't look very good, but she's just like, not fuck, he'd be like, well, no one's gonna find out. Sure, like you know what I mean. Like as long as no one finds out,
right?
Which is horrible, but that's a thing that people need to accept about men. We just have that. I saw someone make a tweet or something about getting rid of male friends because I've had so many male friends lately who have come on to me and I'm like, God, do I have any male friends who don't want to fuck me? And I was just close to commenting going, no, you don't. If they're single is the thing, or there's varying degrees. Like the dude you ran into from grade school.
Right.
He's known you forever. He doesn't want to bang you.
Right.
You know,
but he would.
He probably would, yes. But like I wouldn't, but and I can't. But I know female friends that I've known for a really long time that I don't see that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like Megan Gailey behind me. I could never see her that way. She's like a sister. But
how do you know when a guy is like actively trying to let your your wife know I'll fuck you?
How do I know?
How do you know?
Well,
what is your antenna?
But
what's your guy antenna? Like how you said the guy never said hello to you. He did the arm wasted. What are some ways of knowing that this guy is trying to fuck my friend?
Are you trying to figure out if there's a guy trying to fuck you?
No, I can usually.
Oh, usually I would figure it this way. So
like there's some dudes that. Thank you. Yeah. How'd you figure it out?
The internet.
Oh,
that's see, little cocky ass response right there. Oh, you did Instagram. How do I go from? Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay. All right, so you rephrase the question again if you want.
I'm rephrasing. I'm asking Joe because Joe says that dudes will fuck every girl.
It's very look as a woman you kind of it sucks. It's just I think it's the way men are wired. I don't know if it's right or whatever, but as a woman. You have to understand that you're going to have very few male friends. You might think, oh, he's just my buddy. He wants to fuck you. He does. It's just, and I know this because I hang out with guys and they all tell me this shit. And I've seen it.
What are the definites of like, this man is trying to fuck your girl? You said he doesn't say hi.
Well, with the social media, that was like in a different situation because that was like when we were seeing each other a lot. We don't, as married people with a kid and she's pregnant right now.
Right, it's
a little different right now because we're not in social circles where I'm seeing dudes who don't. If I went to say I went to her holiday Christmas party, right? Where if I'm there and there's like doctors or orderlies or male nurses, which I should just say nurses, I don't like to say male nurses. But if they're dudes at the party who are coming up and kind of like not really acknowledging me, because as a dude, when I meet my female friends, and you know. If I meet them, I try to go out of my way to be cool to the dude as a sign of like, hey man, we're cool. I'm just friends with her. You don't have to ever worry about if she's ever around. You know what I mean? Because I have some female comedian friends or just female friends who have boyfriends where I talk to that dude. Try to get to know him. But if it's a situation where the guy comes up to her, talks to her mostly, and just treats me like I'm a fucking purse accessory, then I know clearly there's something up. Because it's his way of being like, I don't want to get to know you. Because if I get to know you, it's going to be harder to do what I really want to do. Right. What I really want to do is bang your girl. You see what I mean?
Men are insane. But I guess if a girl came up to me or came up to my dude and was like talking to me. But see, like.
But if as a woman, if you were like, I'm not saying you would have been like this when you were single, but say you were like, oh, I want to bang that guy who was a girlfriend. I don't want anything more.
If I was, I'm a bitch though. Yeah, I'll go up to the girl like, hey, my God, I love those shoes.
Maybe people do it that way too.
I love them. oh my God, that hair is beautiful, girl.
See, dudes want to do that way.
Wait till
I want to walk up and get all friendly because I don't want to know them.
I don't care about that bitch.
I actually
try to be all friendly and then get her dude alone and be like, yeah, no. So I'm a fucking cunt. So
the late great comedian Dan Ronan had a unbelievably funny joke. I hope there's Dan Ronan clips on YouTube for everyone to check out. He's such a funny guy.
There are.
There better be. He had a joke where he talked about watching a porn where the girl, it was like, oh, I'm cheating on my boyfriend. And it was like all this, like, just really, you've got a bigger dick than my boyfriend, and you got a better this than my boyfriend. And then, like he had like some punchline too, where it's like, oh, and I hope my boyfriend loses his job today. And like, just kept, it's like, I don't want to see it. Like, why are you doing all this? Like, I don't need this.
Right.
What guy is like, oh yeah, fucking talk more shit about your boyfriend. You're
right.
fucking someone else. Like,
right.
That's weird. Like, because as a dude, I think you kind of, it's not like the woman's the property. See, I think some women listening might be like, oh, you pay respect to the guy because like she's his property. No, it's not that. Right. It's just like a code thing to be like, hey, I'm a good dude, because we know there's a lot of guys who aren't that way. Right. So if I'm like at a party and there's a dude and the dude's coming up and they're not paying me respect, and like that, I use the work party as a good social setting for that. I'm thinking, what the fuck's wrong with these people? Right. You know what I mean? So and then you got to flex.
So what do you do then? So dude, not married Joe. This is dating. Dude comes up, all talking to your girl, doesn't even acknowledge that you're standing there. You got your hand around her, you know. And he's not. What does Joe Kilgallon do?
Oh, Joe Kilgallon goes red. I would. I've definitely seen in a situation or two where I know where I definitely had to like kind of like step up and get in the face a little bit, like, hey man, good to meet you. I've done it once where I kind of like put my hand in the chest and be like, hey, great to meet you, and kind of like stepped in front of her a little bit, like, hi, how are you?
He's like, who are you?
I'm her boyfriend. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good shit, man.
Good to see you. Do you need help with? You need me to help you wander around? No, I'm not kidding. I've had that. I'll give you a really great story too. Once there used to be a bar called I try not to do local references, but it's called Cherry Red. I need the listeners to get an idea of what kind of douchey place this was.
Cherry Red.
It used to be at Belmont in Sheffield. Or no, it was Diversity in Sheffield. It's now like an arcade bar now. Okay. Beer quarters or some shit. Oh, no. It used to be a place called Cherry Red, and it was kind of like half dance club, half bar. Okay. You know what I mean? Just like a fucking college type dance clubby bar in like Lincoln Park, Lakeview neighborhood. It's like fratty neighborhood for those of you around the country, frat boy type neighborhood. Anyway, so on my way there with my buddy, and my buddy's actually like the toughest fucking person in the world. Quiet guy. So he's the quiet guy that will fucking break a neck if they have to. And maybe that's why I stepped to 4 people, because I had him. It was just me and him, but there was 4 of those dudes, and I knew, I'm like, I got him. I could take out him, and he'll get at least 2 or 3 of them. This dude, my now wife, was telling me this guy keeps like harassing me, and I was like, I have a boyfriend. He says, I don't give a shit. I don't see him around.
Yeah, that doesn't work no more.
This was like 2007 or 2006 or some shit. And so I show up and I go, where's this guy? That's the first thing I said to her. I didn't say hi, how are you? I didn't give her a kiss to greet her. I go, where is he? She was sitting over there there was like a couch, like it was a lounge area, you know. I'm like, all right. And I walked up, and he had a friend. There was enough room between him and his friend. There was like maybe half an ass cheek's worth of room between him and his friend. I plotted myself down right between them, looked at him and goes, looked at the guy who I knew wasn't the guy, and goes, 1 second. Put my arm around the dude and said, hey buddy, real quick, when a girl says she has a boyfriend and I got my lips into his fucking eardrum, that's how close I got. I go, fucking listen to him. That's how fucking my mouth was into his fucking ear canal. And I said, we good? And I walked off with his drink. And my buddy was just standing there.
Joe was feeling himself.
My buddy was just standing there looking fucking tough as shit. My buddy Mike Benson, who was fucking, as an 8th grader, ranked 16th in the nation at wrestling. Dude was an all-state wrestler. That dude would just fucking kill people. And we just got up and walked away, and the 4 of them didn't do shit. And there's just certain things. And look, I'm not proud of how overprotective I was or how insecure I was, because there were times where I was literally like, you're gonna wear that shirt. I was that bad. I was bad with that stuff. Like,
that's back when our testosterone was way too high, though.
Yeah, and that's just a stupid way to be. But like, also things have shifted culturally in a good sense, because, you know, it used to be, people were just like, I don't know, guys were just way dumber with that kind of thing. They just felt like. Are. Yeah, we still are, but I think we're better. I mean, even younger guys are better.
No, you're just older now.
Am I just older? Okay. So younger guys are still shitty?
We don't see it. We don't hang out with the younger guys.
Right.
All right, well, if I have any listeners that are in the younger age, any 18, 19, 20-year-old listeners, 17. Actually, I did a fundraiser for the hockey team at my old high school like a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And I know a few of the dudes follow me on Instagram. I don't know if they listen to the podcast, but if you guys listen, send me a fucking private message and let me know if you still act that way, and I'll tell you don't do that
straighten
anymore.
You out.
No, because I wish someone would have told me back then. I wish someone would have told me back then, hey, dude, women will like you more if you don't act like you need them so badly.
No, that's a lie. Like women.
Oh, how do women react to that? Like,
it's like a.
How would you have
felt?
It's
a delicate balance.
It's a delicate balance.
Like you can't be.
Would you have liked what I did to that dude?
Yeah,
you would like that? Okay.
Like.
So that would have been a red panty night.
A panty dropping night, right? You said a red panty night.
I think I took red panty night from Conor McGregor, who you don't like. I get that though. I understand why. But he famously said he's a good shit talker. You got to give him he's a good shit talker.
If a woman has red panties on, she's trying to. Somebody has to see those.
Yeah, his. When he said the red panty night is because he's the money fight in the UFC, meaning that's you're gonna make the most money fighting me. So he said, when you fight me, it's a celebration. You call up your wife and say, baby, we did it. Conor McGregor made us rich. Bust out the red panties. It's red panty night when you fight me. Which is it's a cocky fucking line. Right, anyway, go ahead, though.
So red pen. Now, so you want like a delicate, like you don't want the dude who does that every time. But then you don't want the one who's just like, oh. Yeah, you don't want him. You don't want James. Whatever. She ain't going nowhere. They ain't fucking whatever.
You're right. You don't want the guy that's like, hey, that skirt's too short. But you also don't want the guy that's cool with dudes fucking like.
Right, like.
Imagine dating a guy and some guy goes, "Can I have this dance?" And you're
yeah, and your dude's
no.
like, yeah, go
and then
ahead.
the guy starts grinding your girl.
Yeah,
you're like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, you don't want that dude.
Right. So you just want like on a level from 1 to 10, you want like a 2 in jealousy. I can deal with a 2.
1 to 10, you could deal with a 2.
A 2. Like I want
you
to be like,
hey,
bitch.
Don't you want a 4?
Like
a 2 is barely jealous. That's barely jealous.
I want to put on a sexy dress. And have the dude be like, "Where the fuck you going?" Like that's all.
You want that.
I want that. I just want that. I want
that's
a
4 or 5. 1 to 10.
I just want him to say it, and then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just going out with my girl."
That's still higher than a 2.
That's a 2. I still go out with the dress on. A 4 is like
a 2 is like who's that guy that shared that new music video on your Facebook wall? That's a 2. And then you go,
no,
that's worse.
Dog, a 2,
I think being like, what the fuck are you doing dressed like that is at least a 4, a 3 or 4.
I don't think so.
So what's a 10 in your mind then?
Yeah,
you're just locked into a cage?
A 10 is like, hey, this motherfucker is like the last 5 IG pics or like, I don't, like a 10 I feel like is when you're going like.
A 10 is a murderer.
A 10 would have to be someone who's
it's like OJ level. Like you killed me and the dude who returned my sunglasses. Yeah.
Is that what's the name? I want to say Michael Brown. That is not right. That's the Ferguson story.
Ron Goldman.
Ron Goldman.
Yeah.
But she's Nicole Brown. That's why I had the word Brown, the name Brown.
Yes.
I'm like, why the fuck am I thinking Brown?
Supposedly just over there with return sunglasses. But whatever. You kill me and the server. That is.
I think OJ hit a point. No, okay. I'm fucking around.
That's level 10 jealousy.
We all know where sunglasses lead.
That's like going through my phone.
Maybe he was returning a bra.
That's
bad.
Oh no, you've been
no,
with
I've
your
not
girl
gone through a
for
phone.
Like
I've never gone through a phone.
Yeah,
going through a phone is a 10.
Have
or
I
at least
gone
an 8 or
through
9.
Are you crazy?
Going through what level of jealousy is going through a phone?
It's not jealousy. It's like it's research. It's like information. That's all.
So isn't that more? That's
more
jealous.
James,
than,
I'm with you, and I'm like, "What'd you do last night?" You're like, "Oh, I went out with Joe. We had some beers and whatever, blah blah blah." I am going through your phone.
That is
to see if that is true. That's all. I'm fact checking. That's all I'm doing.
No,
I'm not.
That is
I trust
as
you.
Hell. That's not trust. That's antitrust. Dog.
That is trust. I go through your phone. I don't see shit. I now trust you.
You now trust. Okay.
I don't have to do it. Like
I mean, dude, like, if you trusted me, you'd be like, okay, you went out for drinks. And then that would be the end of the conversation. If you didn't trust me, you'd be like, give me your phone.
But do you keep checking the phone after the first time?
I don't say, give me your phone. I wait till you are in a deep sleep. I don't ask for your phone.
How deep is it? Are you checking? Or are you like,
no,
he didn't wake up from the clap.
I do that. I'll move a little bit.
You play like an infomercial at 2 a.m.? Those are always louder commercials.
I'll do something.
Man.
I'll wait till the heater, like, clicks on, like, the timer comes on, and, like, there's like a sleep where you can know someone's sleep, like you know they're light, and then you know when they're deep, and they're like their mouth opens up a little bit, and you're like, okay.
Start seeing the drool puddle out.
Yeah, you're like, here's
that's when you dig through the person.
And all your movements have to be like half like, and then you just slide.
And then you gotta dim the light probably on the phone, right? Because those are bright sometimes.
And then you gotta like sometimes you go in the bathroom.
Erica.
You definitely gotta go to the
bathroom. You gotta be quick. And if you want to be
Jesus Christ. See, I don't even have a passcode on my phone.
See?
So I'm fair game. She could steal this anytime she wants.
If you find anything, you screenshot and you text it to yourself.
You delete
the screenshot and text.
Right, yeah.
You got to delete his, definitely. Yeah.
No, you screenshot, you send it to yourself, you delete them, you delete the
man.
messages you sent to yourself, you bring the phone back.
You should write a book about this.
You go to sleep, and then in the morning, you just looking at him like this, like, oh, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine.
And then he gets paranoid, and then that's when you get him to reveal what's really up. Blake Burkhart just messaged in the things, and I went to grade school with Joe, and I want to fuck him.
Did he go to grade school?
No, we didn't go to grade school. He's been funny.
Armando Kakash.
Kakash.
Hey, y'all.
How you doing there, Armando Kakash? That's the only way to say that last name is Kakash.
Kakash.
Right? It's fun. So let me ask you this. You think you got some of your tough upbringing from your father? Are you cool talking about your dad?
Yeah, I'm cool.
I don't know why you want to be.
I don't know why you keep saying I'm
I only referenced it because
somebody
thinks
said
it's
that?
hack.
No, because I don't think it's hack. No, because Camilla Cleese, she talks about her dad. She doesn't talk about her in a little bit.
John Cleese?
Yeah, John Cleese's daughter. She's a good friend of mine.
Oh.
And her dad's, obviously very famous. Your dad is just crazy famous too.
Mm-hmm.
I heard when you first, because I remember when you first started, someone saying, "Oh, that's so and so's daughter."
Right.
And I remember going, "Oh, really?" And because we did shows like Old Town Pub together,
Yeah.
and we did we did some fun shows together.
Right, yeah.
And I remember at the time you didn't really talk about it.
Right.
And I wondered, and I thought I remember hearing whispers being like that was on purpose.
Right. No.
Was it?
No.
Okay. Well, just to reveal everybody, Erica's
Yes.
father is Mr. T.
Yes, it's Mr. T.
Mr. T. I pity the fool. A-Team, Rocky 3. I don't know why I'm saying the credits for everybody.
I know. DC Cab.
But
Yeah.
you got discovered as a Chicago bouncer, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you have the mohawk then?
No, he did not.
Wow.
His friend shaved it into a mohawk. Yeah. So the reason why I've always been like weird about saying it's like because I grew up in this city. I grew up in Lake Forest, right? So it's like I only knew one other black person in Lake Forest my entire life living there. So it was just like everyone in Lake Forest knew who I was related to. Like it didn't hurt that our license plate said Mr. T.
Of course.
We live in Lake Forest. There's no
that.
trees in our front yard. Like everyone knows. So it was just like it was not really something. But I always when I don't know, a lot of people never believe me. Right, my dad doesn't really come around. I talk to him on the phone.
Yeah,
he'll send money, stuff like that. He'll pay for shit, but like
you got that great joke about him too. It's so
right,
funny.
but like people, so it's always because it's always like a thing of people like not believing me. You know what I mean? And or people being like I'm lying or like whatever. So it always just became something I just really didn't like talk about. Like because it's like if you like it was always weird to me because it's like if I grew in Lake Forest, like everybody knew in Lake Forest, it was just not even something that was discussed like after I first moved there. But like in this city, it's kind of like if you tell somebody and it's just like, what? No, you're not. Like,
well, because it is like really?
He's not like a real person. He's like it's like a cartoon character.
Well, yeah, I get that. I mean, I understand what you're saying there, though.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of his as a kid. I'm 99% sure I had a Mr. T doll. I'm like 100% sure, actually, to be honest.
Yes.
I did. Like, he was an action figure or whatever. Yeah. Which I'm sure is weird for you to hear people say and all that.
No.
But I get, like, as a comic, when you were starting out thinking, I don't want people knowing, or not that you kept it really secret, because I'm sure people asked you or it came up. You weren't denying it. Because as comics, you want to be like, no, I want to be known for being funny and for these great jokes I write and all that. But at the same time, as a comedian, you got to talk about your life.
Right, yeah.
You have to talk about what's unique to you.
Right. And
people talk about, if someone's dad was a garbage man, they'd be like, my dad's a garbage man. And here's why. Nobody would be like, you're just using your dad as a garbage man to fucking be funny.
Right, yeah.
Right? No one would do that.
So, yeah, I, like, sometimes I talk about it, sometimes I don't. Like, it depends. Like, because I've definitely had people be like, oh, you just do that and you use that to be funny. And I'm always just like,
I've never felt like you did it in a way to use it as a crutch.
Yeah.
Right? I've never felt that. I always, because you obviously have all of my favorite jokes of yours are nothing to do with that. You got these great jokes about being a teacher. You got, you mentioned I mentioned earlier that you have a joke about your boyfriend's big dick, and that's a hilarious ass joke too. And
my boyfriend's got a big dick.
Yeah, and I said he better love that joke.
Right.
Stop talking about my dick to everyone.
Right. I know, right? Like
keep it quiet.
I'll say small.
Yeah. So, but with the Mr. T jokes, I always felt like the jokes you do mention it. it's because it makes it's a funny story.
Right, yeah.
You have a great joke about the first time you like had your period.
Right, yes, which is a true story.
And that's funny for any dad.
Right,
if that were just any dad, it's still a really funny joke.
Right.
But why wouldn't you be like...
Right, like just to make it weirder.
You have the advantage of the audience knowing who your dad is.
Right.
Any comic who would say, "Oh, fuck that," it's because they're jealous.
Right.
They're jealous of the fact that, like,
you know what, though? You know? On some weird shit, like, it's weird because it's like...
Well, jealous because the audience knows and you could just show them you're inside the world a little bit.
Right.
But
I'm
it's
not
saying they wish their dad was Mr. T.
Right.
Although a lot of them probably wish their dad was Mr. T.
It's weird. It's like a weird age group. Like, of course, like people who are like 30, not even 35. Yeah, 35-ish. Definitely 30s and older know my dad. It's like 20s really don't. You know, they didn't grow up with my dad.
Sure.
But then
wasn't he in a Snickers commercial recently?
Like, but it's weird. Like, my students know who he is. And that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, but like before, like for the past 5 years, because he did Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Like, he's the voice of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh, that was a big movie, yeah.
Yeah, so they know him from there.
It's on Netflix right now, I think. I remember seeing it when I was scrolling through. I think, or maybe Amazon Prime. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, this little boy, this is like 2 or 3 years ago. He had a T-shirt with my dad on it, right? But it was like a cartoon, so it was like the face, it was the mohawk, it was the gold chains, and I was just like, that's funny, that's my dad. And he's just like, oh, okay, Miss Clark, it's a cartoon character. And I'm like, whoa, that's...
This is a real person.
I'm like, that... And I'm like, wow, that's funny. But yeah, they know him for like different stuff. But yeah, it's weird, because if I do shows that they're like younger, like 20 crowd, like 25-year-old, like people don't really know who he is. Like, he's easily, you can Google him, but like, you know, it's not like 35-year-olds who like watched him, you know. But
I think I saw you do it when we did a show House of Blues together once. I think you mentioned it. I think the audience clapped for it, and I'm like, oh,
right,
they know who Mr. T is. Yeah, of course.
Right, yeah. But it's just weird, yeah.
So did you watch the stuff he was in when you were growing up? Did he not let you?
No.
No. I'm curious about
that TV off.
Right. Well, I think about my material now, and I think about what age am I going to allow my son to watch my jokes. Because I have jokes about before he was born about worrying about what type of dad I'd be.
Sure.
You know?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I have a joke. Yeah.
Dad, really? Yeah.
I have a joke where I'm like, I think I'd be I got to fix my temper because I'm a psycho parent. You guys, it's on my YouTube. Check out my YouTube. Subscribe. I'm posting videos all the time now. And
shameless
YouTube.com/Joe Kilgallon, where I talk about like how little kids will say mean things to their parents. You know, like a little kid will be like, "I hate you, Daddy," and I went up too far. I'm afraid I'd be like, oh, yeah? Well, you were $450 away from not existing. You were that close. So why don't you shut the fuck up and go to bed when I say to go to bed?
Wow.
Yeah, like that's an abortion threat, right? Like,
right. He's going to give me...
that joke was a big hit for me for a while. I got some mileage out of that one.
With the anesthesia. Okay.
But yeah, when the is that what the cost is now? I didn't know the inflation anymore. Right. But yeah, like I think to myself, at what age is it cool for him to see that? Mm-hmm. And every now and then I'll catch an interview with some actor where they're like, well, I do mostly rated R stuff, so my kids haven't seen any of that. Or they'll say,
that wasn't a rule.
I remember Jason Alexander talking about like my kids are like 12 now, so I'm like, oh, I could let them watch some Seinfeld episodes, and they're like, man, Dad, you were just the worst, you know, because they think of him as that. So how old were you when you first saw your dad in something on like a TV or a movie?
Oh man, I gotta say probably like five, because I remember because I went to school on the South Side. I went to a school called James Cook.
So you grew up on the South Side for a while, and then moved to Lake Forest, or the other way around? Yeah.
Brother, what? Why the other way around? Why the fuck would it be in Lake Forest and be like, oh, we became millionaires. Let's move to 82nd and Racine.
No, I fucked that up. I didn't know. Yes. I didn't know if you. I don't know your age, Erica, and I don't ask. So I didn't know if you were born during season 2 of the 18. So I wasn't sure.
No. 18 was not. 18 came out, and I had to be like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 3, more like 3 or 4.
But you were 5 when you first saw something.
When I first started I first saw something, and so like I remember being like that when I say that stuff about Southside, that's true. Like, yeah, because I went to school with my sister, and I was in kindergarten or first grade. My sister was in 8th grade, but like I remember being like, you know, kids would imitate my dad. Like, A-Team came on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, kids would be like, oh, did you see when BA did that? And I'd be like, yeah, no, that's my dad. And they'd be like, shut the fuck up. Like, and I'd be like, no, for real. Like, and they just would not would always say this, and like the teachers would be like, Erica, stop, because he didn't come around and shit. So like that was the first time I realized like, oh, like, because I never watched the A-Team, because every time I tried to, like, my dad's real quiet, he's very shy in person, so it's just like him at home versus like him on TV, like, I don't know, so it was just like, oh, he's famous, because if I tell people who he, like, not like famous, but I knew like, oh, he's a big deal, because like they don't believe
you. Yeah, that's
right,
gotta be
like
something.
and so like I remember when my dad came to school, like and picked me and my sister up from school, like he had a break for like 6 or 7 weeks, so he picked us up from school a couple times. Everybody like, oh my God, like then it was just like, oh, this is real, like then they fucking start believing me.
How did
and
that
shit.
feel?
How did you not want to be like, what the fuck
But
did I tell
like,
you?
what, y'all thought I was bullshitting, like,
Yeah.
yeah, so like then it was weird
I
after
would have
that,
been like, kiss my ass, I
it
told
was,
you.
it was fine for me because I was like in kindergarten, but my sister was like in 8th grade, so she got into like little fights with girls and shit like that. Like people were like jealous and shit. But then we moved to the South Loop for like a year, and then we moved to Lake Forest. So
Gotcha.
and then it's like in Lake Forest.
There's a lot of rich people, so that's
and
believable.
but everybody believed,
Yeah.
it's just like, you're black. Are you Jordan's
Yeah.
daughter? No, then you're Mr. G's daughter. So everybody believed me.
Well, you said there was one other black family. Were they famous too, or no?
No.
'Cause I thought you made in one of your jokes, but I'm kidding, of course.
No.
But
Yeah, it was just
kidding, but believable.
right.
There's
no,
some
it's-
jokes where you're like, I think you're kidding, but that's
No, it was
plausible.
one other family that I grew up with, Jocelyn Hasty. That's it. And like, so it was like, when I came there, they like put it in the newspaper, that we were moving there.
Really?
Yeah, like the Lake Forest. Like it was just.
But you know what? That makes sense. I remember when the Cubs got Greg Maddux back. After he was in Atlanta Brave, he moved to Park Ridge, which is a nearby suburb by O'Hare.
Yeah.
And I remember someone saying, "Oh, the local newspaper had an article about it." It wasn't like in the Tribune, but it was in some local paper that
so it was
Greg
like,
Maddux has moved over into the area or whatever, which is crazy. But
and it was fun. Yeah, so I remember my first day. And I've done a story about, I won the Moth, the Grand Slam at the Moth.
I know, yeah.
The story about my
The
mom.
Moth is this really, if people don't know, you should know, because the
Storytelling.
Moth's a huge. It's national. It's
Right,
all over
yeah.
the place. I've seen
Yeah.
great comics have amazing stories.
Yeah.
Some of them where you're like totally out of character.
Right.
Bill Burr does a story at the Moth. Like if you could look it up on YouTube, can't remember the name of the story, but it's from it's from before he blew up.
Right.
Like
Oh,
maybe
okay.
before even when he was on Chappelle.
Yeah.
And he like cries during the story. He got like
Holy
teared up
shit.
and struggled to get through it. It's like this story about like,
About his dad.
yeah, you sure that one? You seen it?
Get
I'm
him
gonna
a doll
look
for
at-
Christmas.
Are you YouTubing it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
when he
gonna
was like
look
a
at-
real little kid, he wanted a doll for Christmas.
Oh,
And his dad kind of treated him like shit about it. And it's kind of heartbreaking.
Oh, do you know my Moth story?
I don't know your mom story. I know you won it though, because I remember seeing that.
Would
but I
you
don't
Would you
know.
like to hear it? I'm not gonna give it to you like a.
Well,
With the-
no, yeah, is that one of those things where they do the snapping
no,
shit?
I'm just
I know
kidding.
it's like,
but
bunch
it's
of
what
hippies.
happened.
No.
It's what happened when we moved to Lake Forest, though. Like 2 days after we moved.
yeah, I'd
to
love
Lake
to hear
Forest.
this.
Oh,
And then we
okay.
can get to our virginity stuff, and we'll wrap it up.
All right, I'll give you a shortened version. So.
Oh no, well you can take your time through. I'm not rushing you.
Okay, so here's the thing. My mom has extremely intelligent sisters who all have very high degrees in, medicine and mathematics and things like that. My mom had my sister at like 18 with my dad, so she was a fuck up and didn't go to college and shit. So me and my sister, my mom put us in like STEM classes when we were kids. My sister is really good in science. I'm really good at math. So my sister took all these like after school science programs. I took everything in math, like math Olympics, math gymnastics, whatever the shit's called or whatever. So always, my sister won a ton of awards. I won a ton. So we moved to Lake Forest, right? And based off whatever scores or whatever testing they did, like the principal put me in advanced mathematics. Like I'm in 3rd grade, so what the fuck is advanced math? Whatever, fine. So right? They put me in 4th grade math, right? So I'm in there for 2 days, and my teacher is Miss Valentine, right? And so I'm in the class for 2 days, and then she gives me a letter, and she's like, "Give this to your mom. Tell your mom you're gonna be in a new math class," right? So I was like, "All right, fine." So that was a Friday, right? So I give the letter to my mom, and my mom reads it, and she was just like, "Oh, on Monday I'm coming up to school and I'm beating the fuck out of that bitch, right? And I was like, oh my God, what did that letter say? My mom was like, don't worry about it. I'm just gonna fuck her up, right?
Wow.
So I was just like, yeah, she's not gonna do that, right?
Yeah.
So, of course not, right? Monday, it's the Monday before Thanksgiving. When I tell you we had just moved to Lake Forest, so it was a Monday before Thanksgiving. I'm in a homeroom. My mom comes in with like black sunglasses on and a black leather coat and black leather gloves, and it's like, where the fuck is Miss Valentine's classroom? Like, that's what she says. Like, she doesn't announce herself. So my homeroom teacher's like, ma'am, can I help you? My mom was like, where the fuck is Miss Valentine's classroom? And I'm just like, holy shit. Like,
means business.
Yeah, and everyone's like, who is that lady? Because, my mom doesn't look like, she's shorter, she's darker complected.
She doesn't have a mohawk?
Yeah, no. So she's like, fuck you, I'll find her. And so she goes down the hallway, she finds Miss Valentine's classroom, and our whole class stands up and is like watching. No one knew that it was my mom. I knew it was my mom. So Miss Valentine comes out and it's kind of like, well, Miss Clark, if you have a problem with what I wrote to you, like, I'm not going to be intimidated by who you're married to or whatever. I said what I said. And then so my mom started choking her, right?
Oh, man.
Choking her and lifted her up, right?
Holy shit.
So my mom has to be like 33 or 34 years old at the time. Miss Valentine is like 62, 63, right? So my mom keeps slamming her against the lockers. And I'm like, oh my. And like all the kids are screaming and whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. And like the principal comes, and our elementary school is right by someone's like, I fucking love this story. It's right by a police station, right? So then the police came. My mom's still beating this woman, right? So,
wow.
So the police are like, they had to get my mom off of Miss Valentine, right? And I'm like, oh my God, right? So, everyone comes down. The principal brings me in the office, and he's just like, I want you. I tried to call your mom. I think she may still be in custody, but I want to let you know, tell your mom I'm so sorry, right? And I'm just like,
on her side, nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, what the fuck happened, right? So that's Monday before Thanksgiving, right? So Tuesday, Miss Valentine slips in the hallway, cracks her head, has an aneurysm, and dies. Right? Right? Okay. So I go home and I'm like, Mama, like, Miss Valentine died, right? And my mom was like, fuck Miss Valentine. I don't give a fuck. Fuck her. And I was just like, what the fuck did that letter say? Like,
yeah, good Lord.
And I'm just like, Mama, what is it? She's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry. Are you still in the same math class? And I'm like, yeah. So that's it. Like, my mom never said shit about it. Miss Valentine died the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We have been in Lake Forest for a week.
The last 24 hours of Miss Valentine's life are horrible.
Right. We've been in Lake Forest for a week. Miss Valentine is now dead, right? So like that's fourth grade. Sorry. So
real quick, are we sure she slipped? Did your mom not show up and knock her
I
down?
know. That was like the rule. Everyone was like, did your mom push her? Like, bro, where's your mom at? Like, right. So junior year in high school, right? Because it would always be like a joke. Like, my friends would be like, oh, don't be like Miss Valentine, whatever.
Yeah.
So junior year in high school, my mom went to the hospital. My mom had a mental illness. She goes to like a hospital, and I'm like looking through her stuff, right? Just being like a nosy teenager and shit. My dad was out of town.
Yeah, we know your story.
Very trusting.
Yeah.
Find the letter from Miss Valentine. It is laminated. My mother had it laminated and fucking saved. And it's fucked up because my sister has it in storage. But it literally said, "Dear Mrs. T," which is like strike one, okay? Because my mom's name is not Mrs. T, it's Miss Clark. Like, she knew that. And so, like, she knows that my dad's name is not Mr. T. Like, whatever. So it's just like, okay, whatever. So it says, "Dear Mrs. T, it's like, I want to welcome you to Lake Forest. Erica's a pleasure to have in class." So I'm like starting this off like, okay, what's the problem, right? It's like, but I'm gonna transfer her to remedial math because I think that she's cheating. Because there's no way that a black child from an inner city school can be at the same level as the Lake Forest students. And I think it's disgusting that, you're raising a cheater and she can't do it on her own. And these students actually try. And she said,
and this was no background on yours.
nothing, just based off purely she doesn't show enough work. My students work really hard. She just came in the classroom. I think that you think that because your husband has money that you could, like, she just said all this stuff. If you have a problem, please, contact me for a conference, blah, 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 blah. So like I remember my whole life being embarrassed that my mom had did that, and then I was kind of like, well.
No, I love your mom.
Fuck Miss Valentine, right? I know. Fuck her. I'm glad she's dead. Fuck that bitch, right? Because the thing is, it's like when I tell you, Joe, my whole fucking life, like you went to school, you went to CPS, so like I went to every math program after school, like that there was possibly available. So like, I know that bothered my mom because, like, you could say I failed any fucking class, but not math. Like, you can't ever fucking say that to my mom. And, like, the fucked up thing is
good for your mom.
I never, ever got less than an A. Like, in high school, like, I could come to class, like, one day, get an A in math. Like, I love that story. They never gave me a B. Like, I guess they just not want Phyllis to come back.
I think my favorite...
Phyllis never came back except for graduation. Like, this bitch killed the math teacher. Like, fuck that shit. Hey, I'm like, what the fuck? I know I failed that
parent,
test.
You always think, fuck with my kid, I'll kill you, but you don't actually follow through.
Right, I know. That's what I'm like. Right.
Mrs. Clark, you did it. But,
holy shit.
No, your mom was great. That was fantastic.
Yeah,
you know what the best part about that was that
she killed her. I know she killed her.
No, but that might be the best part. The second best part is I'm going to wear leather to do this.
Right, I know.
She dressed head to toe.
She was dressed like...
I talked about you being the action star of my fake movie.
Yeah, no.
It's your mother.
Phyllis was dressed like a Black Panther.
That should be... Newton, that would be a great new Marvel character.
She had
opposite of Luke Cage.
Leather
Phyllis.
gloves on.
And the series is called Phyllis.
Black leather driving gloves.
I like that.
Like,
the kind where you like pull the thing.
Yeah,
down,
and the knuckles are out. Yeah, like, so no fingerprints and shit.
Fuck
like,
yeah, I love it.
It's fucking crazy.
That's too good a story. That story.
It's insane.
I mean, it won them off.
I need to. We need to end the podcast on that story.
Oh, okay.
No, I was going to share the virginity thing.
Well, no, I need to know because I want to know. I'll tell you how I lost.
How about we do this? I have to piss real quick. Let's end the podcast right here. I'm going to pee. We'll come back. We keep the cameras rolling.
Yeah.
And then we film our virginity stories. Bonus content? Are you cool with being bonus content?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you fine with helping me out there?
Yes.
You come up with bonus content.
While he's gone, I'll tell my virginity story.
Will you tell it to James?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I'll share mine as the bonus.
All right.
All right. I'm going to do real quick like I did before. I'm a fast peer. I start peeing before I take my dick out. It's weird. Anyway.
Who does your under?
Normally I have to pee twice in one podcast.
Oh, what the hell?
Dave Metz, rest in peace.
I had a goddamn Gatorade earlier.
Oh, he had Gatorade. He had 2 Stellas. Okay, I lost my virginity.
Okay.
Okay, so I was a whore.
Is this a happy story or
no? It's a happy story.
Okay,
it's a quick story. My mom got in a car accident.
Yeah.
She was fine, but she was in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to lose my virginity.
Who didn't?
But you know how some girls are like, "Oh, I'm saving it." I wasn't.
True.
I was ready.
Protect your flower.
Right. Yeah. Protect your treasure. I was no. I want the fuck, right? So, like, my mom got in a car accident that Tuesday. I was seeing a dude. Like, she was fine.
How old were you?
How old was it? 19.
Okay, cool. Me too.
Yeah, and like I wanted to fuck him. I knew she was fine, but I thought this could be my like. Oh, I'm so upset about my mom.
You get a sympathy.
Yes, I got a sympathy. Oh my god, I just need someone to talk to about it.
Okay. So set the scene. Where's this dude?
We were in college.
Yeah.
So like, and it was, I think it was spring break.
Okay.
But he did not go anywhere for spring break. So I was just like, oh yeah, my mom got in this car accident. I really want to talk to somebody about it. So I went over there, like, condom in purse.
Nice. Fully prepped.
See, she always has a plan.
With
I like
a
that.
mix CD that I had a virginity.
What's on the mix CD?
Oh my god! I swear to God, all my life I know the first 3 songs. I don't remember anything. The first song was "Barely Breathing" by Duncan Sheik.
Okay.
You remember that song?
No.
I remember that.
Put that on my fuck playlist.
Okay. Number 2 was 33 by Smashing Pumpkins.
Word.
That's a cool tune.
Do you know that?
I like that.
Yes.
And that's number 2. And number 3 was "Seems Like You're Ready" by R. Kelly. That. So I was like, I'm gonna put that on.
Oh, that's the
Duncan Sheik, and
the
I
best
thought we'd be
ramp I've ever
fucking.
seen built.
Right?
Holy shit!
We'll be fucking, but and then I don't even remember what was 4th, 5th, but I just remember.
Oh well, by 4 and 5, you're in.
In my right.
Yeah.
Bro, did he last till 4 and 5?
Please.
Was it his virginity too, or no?
No. Oh my God, no.
I missed the beginning.
No.
Obviously, I went to go
No,
pee
no.
everybody.
I was saying my mom got in a car accident. She was fine. I knew she was fine, but I called them up and act like, oh, I just need a shoulder to cry on. Totally shaved and prepared and ready.
Hell
condoms, fuck playlist ready.
You had
purse.
a little kit. You had a little
Yeah,
press kit. You had a fuck
EPK.
kit.
A little EPK, yeah. And
what was that first song again?
Barely Breathing by Duncan Sheik.
Anyway, you could
The
play a
second-
sample. Can we
play a
get away with it?
sample,
No,
please.
we
I can't.
can't.
We'll
I
get taken
know.
off.
We'll get taken
fuck.
off. Fucking Facebook with their goddamn guidelines. If we went on YouTube, maybe. Now they're pretty
Nope,
strict too.
they're even worse.
All right. Twitch
You
better?
know
Do you
the
really
song.
want me
I
to go live on
guarantee
Twitch from
you
now on?
know the song.
If you, as soon as you hear it, you're gonna know it.
I'm gonna listen
Yes.
to. I'm gonna listen to it. We can hear it, but the audience can't.
And he
Okay.
liked the whole playlist.
I don't.
It doesn't matter.
You hear that?
Oh shit!
Yeah, you remember this shit?
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Yeah.
Oh my God. And he had the douchiest name ever.
What was his name? Was it
John.
Dash?
Dot.
John Bentley.
John Bentley? His name was Bentley? Oh, man.
Sounds like a fucking.
Was this a high school friend?
Oh, college.
Superhero
John
Oh,
Bentley.
college.
detective.
Where'd you go to college?
Lake Forest College.
Lake Forest College? Oh, cool. High school and
Yeah.
college,
Yes. John
Nice.
Bentley. Who's married now? Kids.
I know Lake Forest College decently
Wow.
because my stepmother ran like camp for spina bifida kids because
Oh.
she's a nurse practitioner. So like
Oh, okay.
through children's, well, they're not called children's anymore hospital. It's now Lurie's or whatever. But this was like
Mm-hmm.
way back when.
And Lori.
But I remember going up there when I was like 8 because it was when my dad was dating her, and going to some little quaint ice cream shop, and they're
Oh,
cute,
Sweets.
probably
It's called Sweets.
Sweets, cute little main street they got there in Lake Forest. It's really
Deer
nice. It's very picturesque suburb there. Get that. All right, Erica, where can people follow you? I know you got this great Instagram going because you're live on it right now.
Yes. Someone called me a hussy. Oh, fuck you, Katie. Katie,
someone you
you
know?
love me. Yeah, I know her. So whatchamacallit? You can follow me on Twitter. I'm very raunchy on Twitter, so please don't follow me. If you're not ready for
But
this.
you have the same name on all the platforms?
No. So Twitter, comic. Because
Why don't comics do it? You
I
couldn't
wish
get it?
I tried
Okay.
because I couldn't get it. It's some other cunt named Erica N. Clark who's not doing shit with her fucking life. But take it. So on Twitter, it's comic Erica Clark. On Instagram, it's Erica Nicole Clark, and Facebook, it's Erica
I'll
Nicole
tag
Clark.
you and stuff too. But anything else you want to promote?
I bought a book. I wrote a book called How to Be a Stalker. About when I was a stalker.
I like that.
In high school.
I'll link that in chat.
Huh?
Link it in the chat. Yeah, let them know.
How to Be a Stalker by Erica Clark. And yeah, that's it.
That's great.
Yes.
And if you guys can watch reruns of anything Mr. T's in, so that residual money falls in the right
Yeah,
hands.
yeah. So please watch 18
I
Rocket
actually-
3 DC Cab. Get those residual.
Yes, I got a residual check. I had 2 lines in Chicago Med. I think they cut one of the lines. The first residual, that's a hard word. The first residual check was awesome.
Yeah, and then they go down. They go down.
I got the next one, and it went down an insane amount because I thought it'd be more gradual. I thought the first 5 residuals would be great. Dude, the first one was unbelievably good.
Yes,
I was
because
very happy
it's
with.
first run, rerun.
Yeah, and then the
after
next
that,
one
it's-
was
it's-
like, oh, cool.
right. I can
Goodbye.
get some cigarettes.
Yeah, slightly better than that, but yeah, I could pay my Hulu Live for the month now. But like, fuck, man, I was looking forward to a few $100. I was hoping. Anyway, though, well, listen, everybody, thank you for checking out Kilgallon's Pub. Thanks for everyone in the chat, everyone watching live. We've been posting the full videos on the YouTube page. The Patreon is basically started. It's just patreon.com/Joe Kilgallon. A lot of podcast stuff, my own stand-up, which I think you guys would dig too. Cheers to everyone for listening and keep telling your friends. I love you guys. This has been great. This has been Kilgallon's Pub. Thank you.
Bye-bye.